opt to sell their books without DRM. But if you think Amazon is immune to this kind of shenanigans, you are sadly mistaken. My books matter a lot to me. I just paid $8,000 to have a container full of the book shipped from a...
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,402. Silver at $15.03. And Bitcoin is trading at $11,279. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Iran has called for the immediate release of its oil tanker after British Royal Marines boarded and seized it off Gibraltar after it took a long 90-day trek around the tip of Africa, presumably to evade sanctions enforcement en route to Syria. Authorities had accused the Grace 1 supertanker of illegal smuggling, as it had reportedly been transporting some 2 million barrels of Iranian oil. The anti-media reports that Iran's foreign ministry had immediately summoned the UK ambassador over the incident, saying the move was unacceptable. An official statement of protest called for the immediate release of the oil tanker, given that it had been seized at the request of the U.S., based on the information currently available. Iran's position is that the EU sanctions on Syria have not been endorsed by the UN, while the U.S. received the news as a positive development in the global crackdown on Iranian oil. But Syria and Iran, as well as some Arab commentators, have shot back that some of the few dozen Royal Marines seizing the tanker by fast roping it on a helicopter amounts to piracy. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Brazilian government is targeting one of its biggest critics, journalist Glenn Greenwald, in a move decried by observers as an intimidation tactic designed to stifle opposition to right-wing President Bolsonaro. The Government Finance Ministry's money laundering unit was asked by federal police to investigate Greenwald's finances. That's according to a report Tuesday by O Antagonista. The right-wing Brazilian news site said the investigation would focus on whether Greenwald paid for access to leaked records he used in reporting on the Bolsonaro government's Operation Car Wash sting. Activist Post reports that attacks on Greenwald and his family, including husband David Miranda, a member of Brazil's Congress, were criticized by UN and Organization of American States Edison Lanza and David Calle. Nothing, says Police State USA. Quite like a SWAT team raiding a family home and killing their dog because they're unable to pay their gas bill. The woman whose dog was killed and home destroyed by SWAT officers is Angela Zorek, and her story about her police state experience will shock the conscience. After fighting the system for nearly 5 years, Zorek's family is finally being compensated. Activist Post reports that according to a lawsuit, which was settled this week, Zorek was the victim of a massive military-style raid and subsequent puppycide. The raid was carried out because police said they needed, quote, to check if her home had electricity and natural gas service, end quote. Zorek admitted to the police she did not have gas, but said she did have electricity. Zorek asked for another inspection to prove that she had utilities. The officers told her that was fine, but the investigation would continue. The next day, April 29, 2014, the home was raided by multiple officers from the St. Louis County Police Tactical Response Unit. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
It's the Onion Radio News. A man on TV urges the mass purchase of Listerine. This is Doyle Redland reporting. In what is believed to be the widest-reaching appeal ever made by an individual on behalf of an oral hygiene aid, an unidentified man urged millions of people across the U.S. to purchase Listerine brand antiseptic mouthwash today. Experts are baffled as to why a person with the power to reach millions would choose to present an oral hygiene-related message. FCC spokesperson Grant Yarborough.
This individual should be so obsessed with oral hygiene as to demand that several million bottles of Listerine be simultaneously purchased is baffling.
The man, described as a handsome, trustworthy-looking individual in his early 30s, emphatically stressed that Listerine should be purchased over other, inferior mouthwash brands. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, the live Saturday edition of the program. You can dial in to join us here in a moment. Not at the moment. You can't call in about anything. Normally you can call in about anything you want. But calls right now will be put on hold, and you'll only be put on hold if you have a question for our guest, who has returned after, I don't know how many years it's been. It's been quite a few since we had you on previously. John Stossel is back with us, Ian and Mark, here in the Free Talk Live studios. Hey, John.
Hi.
Hey, great to have you back here on Free Talk Live. Where are you tonight, if I might ask? What state?
I'm in Mount Kisco, New York, with some relatives.
Sounds lovely.
Hoping someone will explain the Listerine commercial or the Onion or whatever the heck that was.
So you were on hold here. You heard a commercial that airs on our streams, but most of our radio listeners, in fact, I don't think any of our radio listeners heard.
Okay, never mind.
But if you know what the Onion is, then it should give you some context for the whatever ridiculous thing that they were saying.
So, John, I've got to say, I grew up watching your work in probably the late 70s and early 80s in Give Me a Break. And what network was that on?
It was ABC in 2020 and Good Morning America.
2020.
And in the late 70s, if you were libertarian, you wouldn't have liked it.
Well, for me, I was a kid, and I wasn't anything. It's just that kind of the shtick was, the common sense. And even though, like, libertarianism has a lot of common sense to it, and then again, so do, there's lots of other stuff, too.
Well, so you're saying you weren't always a libertarian?
No, I was a garden variety leftist. I came out of college where I was taught that government, the right programs will solve the problems.
What was it that, changed your viewpoint?
It had to be something.
Was there one particular thing, or how did that work out for you?
Well, in my Give Me a Break book, the chapter's title is Epiphany, but it's really misleading in that it was slow. I was stupid, not as smart as you or your listeners, apparently, in that I was a consumer reporter. I ended up being on TV doing that because I was a stutterer and I didn't want to compete with the political reporters at press conferences. But it turned out to be a good thing. I sort of invented TV consumer reporting, and I was covering crooked businesses and doing tests and catching them cheating and calling for government regulation. And doing that made me popular with my journalism peers. I won 19 Emmy Awards as a leftist muckraker. But because I was a stutterer, I stayed on the beat, and I watched the regulation I called for fail. I mean, sometimes they passed laws. They created the Oregon Department of Consumer Affairs, partly because of my reporting. And we would send a TV set or car to 20 different repair shops with a minor part loose, and 18 would say, yeah, minor part loose, and 2 would say, oh, come back in a week and charge us a lot of money, and I would say, well, would you ever say this? Oh, I'd never do that. Oh, yeah, well, watch this, and we'd play the hidden camera tape, and politicians called up and said, oh, that was great television, and we're going to pass a law to fix that.
Yep.
So then 3 years later, I would do the same test, get the same results, roughly. Most people are honest, a few are not, and wonder, so what's the Department of Consumer Affairs doing? Well, they had a building with dreary people, or dreary desks, and they were licensing repair shops. And this intuitively makes sense to me and to most people. We license drivers, we license dogs, we think it protects us. But all it really does is raise costs a little and makes it so people who can't understand the rules go black market, or they have to hire lawyers, and everything costs a little more.
Right. It keeps people out of starting their own business in a lot of cases.
In a lot of cases. And so I started reading more. What's wrong with my liberal philosophy? And I went to the conservative press, and they seemed to want to go to war against everybody and invade our bedrooms, and I didn't like that. And I finally discovered Reason magazine, and that was the epiphany. Oh, my God, there's this thing called libertarianism, and these people understand life better than I do.
How many years deep in your, national television career, or were you even national at that point when you found Reason?
12, 15.
So you were on national television at that time?
Yes.
Okay.
When did you do the iconic one about houses on the beach, insurance, government insurance, and houses on the beach?
Don't ask me when, because it all blurs together, but it was a good example. I built a beach house in Long Island, New York, and the only property I could afford was on the edge of an ocean. And I pooled money with the other guys that we had been going out to the Hamptons chasing women, and we rented together. And I said, look, I'll take on the mortgage, and you pay me the rent we were paying, and then I could afford it. Bought this property, had the house on stilts, and it eventually washed away. But I only took the risk because of federal flood insurance. I asked my father for help on the mortgage, and he said, no, are you crazy? It's on the edge of an ocean. But I could say, well, Dad, I can't lose. There's this program, the premiums are cheap, and at the time it would cover the full cost of the house.
Wow.
And eventually the house washed away. So it was upsetting for me, but it made for a good example of bad programs.
No doubt about it.
So then you left, the sort of the big three, and I'm not sure if we can call them the big three anymore.
You're going a little too fast here. I mean, look, John Stossel hit, I believe, the anchor position of 2020 toward the end of your career at ABC. You ended up moving over to Fox, I believe the Fox Business Network after that. But one of the things you told us, I think the last time we had you on, which was, I don't know, a decade ago or something like that, was that, you had, even at ABC, you'd been given relatively free rein as far as the things that you would say. Is that the case?
Pretty free. It would depend on the topic. Drug legalization, I could get on. The stupidity of rent control went through 94 lawyers. It just can't be true that rent control is harmful to people. I live in a rent-controlled building. So it depended on the biases of the editors I had to go through.
Okay.
And toward the end at ABC, I should back up. They let me have relatively free rein because my programs were getting good ratings.
Big numbers, yeah.
Did one, We're Scaring You to Death,
right.
Men and Women Are Different, got 19 million viewers.
Right, they ended up giving you full hour-long programs.
Shows, right. And Game of Thrones got 13 million and all this fuss. Of course, I was getting 19 million because most people only had 4 channels because our stupid government blocked cable from expanding to protect poor people because cable was going to destroy free TV. And so I had lots and lots of viewers. But by the end, my bosses at ABC, I wanted to do something on Obamacare. Oh, you're getting predictable, this libertarian stuff. It rated well, but bosses just didn't want to put it on. Every one was a fight. So I've been left for Fox.
And you had spent how many years was it Fox Business doing your own show regularly, an hour-long program? 7 years at Fox Business. How were what were some of the differences between working, if you can say, between both of those organizations?
Well, at Fox, you would just put the stuff on the air, and I and the executive producer were responsible if there was something wrong or a problem. At ABC, it was unionized, so that was inefficient, and there were just many layers before you could put something on. Fox is much more efficient.
Interesting. I didn't know that one was a union shop and the other one wasn't. How does Fox avoid the unions in the entertainment business? Because they're pretty powerful, right?
They are, though they were getting less powerful as cable expanded. I assume Roger Ailes just said, screw you, I'm not going to allow a union shop to start in here, and pushed it through.
John Stossel is with us here. His website, by the way, johnstossel.com. That'll take you right to his YouTube channel where you can subscribe. Stand by, John. We're going to come back with more. And, of course, if you've got a question for John, you're welcome to join us. Our toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. It's the live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's Tuttle.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Live video of our Keene, New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
Hey, we're back with more Free Talk Live, the live Saturday edition of the program, with a special guest, John Stossel from johnstossel.com, now doing his own thing on YouTube. We're kind of taking a look back at where he came from and how he became a libertarian and where he's going to now and what's next for him. In fact, including Freedom Fest, which is coming up here in a little bit. Mark, we're going in, 2 weeks, I think? Less than that?
Yeah,
a week and a half?
It's the 17th through the 20th at the Paris Hotel in Las Vegas. Big names, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, Penn Jillette, John Stossel, who we have on right now, Candace Owen, John Mackey from Whole Foods. Big names.
Yeah, so you can go to freedomfest.com and you can use our discount code if you would like to attend and save some money. Code is FTL50. Just go to freedomfest.com/FTL. Actually, that's freedomfest.com/FTL. And again, code FTL50 for a discount. John, thanks for sticking with us here. We're just kind of going back through a little bit of your history, maybe for some of our younger listeners who may not have been around when you were doing things on ABC News, people who may not have ever watched television these days. I mean, you've watched from the inside and the outside. I mean, what's the status of the television business like? I mean, are they afraid of YouTube and the internet? And do they realize that they're that everything's changing around them? What do you think about that?
Sure. I mean, you can't not realize it, but they just try to hang on as long as they can.
Yeah, well, we've seen TV and other news reporters end up actually reporting on things that Twitter is doing, or like what people are saying on the internet. These are becoming news reports. Is it I don't know, disappointing, or are you excited about the
How far has television fallen?
Are you excited about the changes to the way people are receiving their information and entertainment?
I mean, except for the algorithm giving people confirmation bias, I'm excited. It's just television was stultifying. There's a very narrow range of opinions, mostly moderately left, and it kept changing. Cable made it a little better. And then my 28-year-old son said to me, Dad, I've become this born-again free marketer zealot trying to convince everybody that we know what works. We know what makes people prosperous, creates better lives. You see it in Hong Kong versus the Soviet Union. My God, we got to explain this to people. My son says, no one's going to listen to you when you're on Fox, no young people. And that's partly because he lives in New York City where young people feel that way. But he said, you got 1 million Twitter followers. There's this thing called social media. You don't need a network anymore. You can do this on your own. And I didn't love doing my hour-long talk show because a lot of people can do that. And my skill that I learned, frankly, by being a stutterer and having to edit my stutters out, was to edit, was to cut things down, cut out the boring parts, make it visual, make complicated subjects clearer with pictures. And I wanted to go back to doing that. So now I'm making these 5-minute videos on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, and so that's interesting because we've seen certainly, it's not just that young people aren't watching, it's Fox. It's just that young people probably aren't watching live television at all. We've seen the numbers going down on CNN, MSNBC, and Fox alike as their viewership basically gets older and is dying off.
Actually, during this presidential campaign, they're quite high. They're not dropping at the moment.
Really? That's a surprise.
Now, you were saying there
CNN is dropping, but MSNBC and Fox are getting big numbers.
Huh.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. Everybody wants to get their confirmation bias for this particular. Each team has to get ramped up. You were saying the Soviet Union is a socialist failure, but if you listen to the millennials these days, they'll tell you that places like Sweden, that is the socialist paradise. And I'm looking through some of your titles here for your videos, and you don't think so.
We did a video on that. Yeah, it's annoying, and I was annoyed with myself that when people said that, I couldn't immediately give an answer, and I had to spend a week researching it. But look, Sweden was pretty socialist in the 70s, and things got so bad that the author of Pippi Longstocking, the children's books, was losing money with every book she sold because her taxes somehow were 101%. And she complained about that in a newspaper article, and that started the change. And they pulled back on some of their social welfare programs. And, you know, they have bigger ones than the United States does, but their leaders are so frustrated by idiots like Bernie saying things like Denmark and Sweden are socialist. The Prime Minister of Denmark went on TV to say, no, we're a market economy. They don't have a minimum wage. They have school choice. They tax the crap out of middle-class people. They don't have a progressive tax system. And they have less regulation than the United States does in 1,000 ways.
Yeah, and I think that young people look at a few cherry-picked, and just people generally that want these great things. And there's some really great things about the Scandinavian area and Northern Europe and stuff like that. I can see why some people want to emulate those successes that they've had. But socialism, it's not. It's just a company or a country with some more social welfare programs in some ways.
And the culture of work and being responsible. I mean, Swedes do really well in Minnesota too.
Right, and that's another thing to say is that, well, how are the Swedes in the United States doing? And, well, frankly, they're doing better than the Swedes in Sweden.
And what innovation has come from Denmark, Sweden, Finland,
Legos,
Norway? Okay, there have been a few things, and IKEA, but Google, Facebook, all the big ones, United States. And I don't think it's an accident that they were developed in the metropolitan areas farthest from Washington, D.C. It's just sad that they now have all lawyered up and they've got big lobbying operations. But when they grew the most, they had nobody in D.C.
So why hasn't socialism worked in places like Venezuela? We're seeing a collapse there. What's failing there?
Because the only thing that works is markets. Only when people are free to spend their own money and make their own choices about that do we have any kind of efficiency. I mean, you see it in medicine. Medicine is 7/8 socialized in America because $7 out of $8 is spent by either a private insurance company or the government. But in the tiny areas where there's a market, like LASIK eye surgery and cosmetic surgery, the waiting rooms are nice. The doctors give you their cell phone numbers. The prices go down as the quality goes up because they each have to constantly improve to win the business. Government can't improve without somebody rewriting a rule. Business looks for a change every hour. Mm-hmm. Government, you have a change every election, sometimes.
4 years. Yep. And even then, it's nothing significant. Even then, it's just changing out, one deck chair on the Titanic.
Right. They talk about the presidency and how important the first 100 days is. What about the rest of the days?
Why
is it the first 100?
John Stossel is with us from johnstossel.com. You can check him out there. More here in moments. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. He's doing, I think, a video every single week there on that YouTube channel. and that he's in charge completely now of, which is really cool. Rather than, some corporate behemoth like ABC or Fox. 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's Free Talk Live.
Are you dealing with overwhelming credit card debt? Then it's time to get rid of it with a mortgage refinance from American Financing. You'll work with a salary-based mortgage consultant, so there's no pressure and no commission. No upfront fees either. I recommend American Financing because they continue to help customers save $1,000 or more each month without resetting their loan term. You may even be able to postpone up to 2 months of mortgage payments, creating an even greater upfront savings. Not a homeowner yet? Mortgage rates have been falling for the last few months, making it a great time to buy. Get started now by calling 888-804-0303. That's 888-804-0303. Or try their new digital mortgage at AmericanFinancing.net. You can download an instant pre-qualified letter, and you can complete the entire mortgage process online anytime, anywhere. 888-804-0303 or AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
I just heard the best sales pitch I've heard in a long time on an airplane. The flight attendant announced, "If you paid more than $75 for your round-trip ticket, you overpaid." This is brilliant because everybody on the flight paid more, and I was struck by how all the road warriors stopped typing and reading and working and looked up. The announcement invited us to apply for the airline's credit card, and the sign-up bonus, enough frequent flyer miles for a free round trip. Talk about turning lemons into lemonade. With some banks offering free credit cards, $75 is an outrage for an annual fee, but a bargain for airline tickets. For more tips on communicating more effectively, hit survivalspeech.com, where you can see how I got the CEO of another major airline to shower me with freebies. I'm Holland Cook.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live.
How dare you, and who do you think you are? I mean, it's my life, it's my business. I should be able to run it how I want to, and my customers should be able to make the choice for themselves as to whether or not they want to do business with me. And they should be able to make that choice based on the quality of my product or my reputation or the fact that I've got third-party certification or whatever factors they deem important. If I'm doing business and you don't trust me or you think I'm shady, then you don't have to do business with me. In fact, you can tell other people what you think about my business and my practices, and maybe they also will join you in not doing business with me. There's no need for government regulations out there. The marketplace can handle third-party certification of various different products and services to where people who are concerned about whether or not the business they're dealing with is trustworthy can check with a verifiable resource that indeed this is a trustworthy individual or a trustworthy company that you're doing business with.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves. Coming up a little bit later on, we'll open the phones up and you can bring up anything that you want. We do have John Stossel on with us right now. We're going to continue talking to him about what's going on in John Stossel's world these days. Now that he's no longer tied down with ABC and Fox, he's gone out and done his own thing on YouTube. You can go to johnstossel.com and access What appears to be a few years worth of archives. Of course, you're also putting up new posts, I think, once a week. I'm looking back here at some of your older videos, John. Looks like some of these are classic clips going back to your ABC and Fox days.
Well, YouTube keeps some of those around, but every Tuesday we put out a new 5-minute video, and I should be clear, I'm not done with Fox. I'm still employed there, but they don't use me much.
Okay. Well, you're not employed doing an hour-long talk show every week, so you've got a lot more time.
Right, I gave that up. I appear on Kennedy's show. They don't quite know what to do with libertarians sometimes.
Well, I wish they did. I wish libertarians had the clout to be able to have their own channel where people would come for their confirmation bias.
It's too late for that, isn't it? I mean, can you imagine the cost of setting up your own cable network and then, trying to get it onto cable systems? Why would you even want to bother with that when you can just start up an internet site and get out on social media? It seems like it's working pretty well. You're over 200,000 subscribers on your channel, and many of these videos have hundreds of thousands, if not over 1 million views. So kudos.
And that's on YouTube. We're averaging 1,100,000. And I should also add that you got people like Kennedy and Judge Napolitano on Fox who are on a fair amount. And I'm part of the problem because they asked me to comment on what Trump just did, and I say, well, no, I need to research the tariffs and get back to you in a day, and they want people who can react immediately.
Right now, yeah.
Are you concerned at all, John, about what they've been calling deplatforming in the recent last couple of years, where certain personalities have been apparently targeted by YouTube and, say, Twitter, for instance? Is that something that concerns you at all?
Yes, and we've had videos that have been labeled unfit for children. A couple on socialism where we show some of the violence that's happened in Venezuela. And I think it's actually some of the lefty people who know how to push the buttons of the companies, and they file a lot of complaints and say, this is inappropriate for children. And when it's labeled that way, it doesn't automatically roll, and that hurts views. But yeah, and Ed Harris being kicked off by his fundraising, Sam Harris being kicked off by his fundraising platform. They ought to just let everything out there and let people make their own decisions.
Yeah, I can tell you, being on the radio right now, where I doubt there's very many young people sitting with a transistor radio, just trying to hear a few libertarians talk on their transistor radio. But they're probably on YouTube, where you can cuss all day long.
And you guys seem to be doing well. You've got lots of commercials, and you're on for 3 hours.
We've been doing it for a long time. It's really amazing that the libertarian programming could make it on the radio.
We finally crossed the 200 station threshold back in May. So yes, we've done all right. Would you mind taking a couple calls? Folks got a couple questions for you here. All right, let's go to Dennis to start things out here in Myrtle Beach, listening to WRNN. Dennis, you're on with John Stossel on Free Talk Live.
Yes, thank you very much. John, I've so enjoyed listening to you. I had a couple questions. The first question was, how do you feel about the more than 90% negativity against our present president? How do you feel about that?
I don't know what you mean by 90% negativity. But, and I love that he beat Hillary, and I would vote for him over the current Democrats. But he's a despicable person. He's like a 2-year-old. Look at me. You're supposed to outgrow that when you're older than 2. I'm the best. And he's a bully, and he doesn't read, and I don't like the guy. I like his son, who lives in my building, actually, but I'm negative on the guy. I'm just more negative on the socialist Democrats.
Well, what exactly has he done that you're against? I mean, other than the fact that he does just come out and say like the average. Well, like I claim him to be the average person just talking to each other in a bar. What exactly has he done that you're against?
He's lied to people. He's said things like, the fact that we have a trade deficit with China of $800 billion means we have lost $800 billion to China, when he ought to be explaining that trade makes us wealthier. He has not pulled out of the wars he said he would pull us out of when he was running. And if I had more time, I could think of a list. But
Dennis,
he's also
thanks
done
for your
wonderful things, and he's appointed people, or he appointed people who then appointed people, because I don't think he knew who they were, who were actually knowledgeable deregulators. And this signaled a business that, okay, for the next couple of years, government isn't going to look for ways to crush you, I think is why the economy is booming and more people are hiring.
Thank you, Dennis, for your call tonight. I appreciate it.
We have a trade deficit at my house with Target. Do you think we should do anything about that, John?
Boycott. Yeah, it's a good
I'm going to go out there and tell
say.
them they need to buy more things from my house. I don't know what they buy.
Yeah.
Let's go
or
on.
You're going to punish yourself by putting a tariff on everything you
Right.
buy.
I'm not going to buy anything from Target when we buy things from Target.
Let's go to another call here. We got Robert on the line in Vermont. Robert, you're on with John Stossel on Free Talk Live.
John, where do you think the United States would be today if Ross Perot had won the election?
I don't know.
It's a hard question to answer, right?
I mean, he wisely cared about the entitlements crisis, and listening to Dennis's voice, I would say he and I and other old people are ripping off you younger people, and we're going to bankrupt the country because you can't afford to keep paying us our Medicare and Social Security, and we rudely refuse to die. Perot at least was aware of that and might have made a difference there, but otherwise, I don't know.
Thank you, Robert, for your call tonight.
Yeah, so you're talking about the deficits that some social welfare programs are creating, and that's absolutely true. I've spent a little time with the debt, the national debt, and sort of thinking about it, running a few numbers here and there. And it's very difficult. It's a mercurial and morass to try to figure out. But, I mean, that debt's been around since the Jackson administration. When you talk about us paying your debt, you guys were paying the Civil War vets' debt for a long time. I mean, this debt has been around, and I'd say at least half of it is from foreign wars that honestly didn't benefit the United States in many ways. What, I mean, do you think the social welfare programs are going to come and get us?
It's all, and the social programs that conservatives complain about are small compared to this handouts to the middle class. And old people are, on average, wealthier than young people. But it used to be that the deficits would drop after a war. If you just look at the spending as a line on the graph, it would go up. World War I, go down again. World War II, go down again. But then came the Great Society, and since then it's only gone up. And now that we're living longer, these programs are utterly unsustainable. I get Medicare. I go to the doctor. Nobody even discusses price. It's like, wow, it's free.
They don't know. I mean, I've been to the doctor to ask these people questions about price. They have no clue.
And old people, it's their social life to hang around in the waiting room and have another checkup, because it's not totally free. A month later, they'll get 6 months later, they'll get a bill for $14.95 or something, but it feels free.
John Stossel is with us here. One more segment. Stand by, John. We're going to bring you back for a little bit more, and your calls and thoughts also welcome here. If you got a question for John Stossel, you should get on the line now at 855-450-FREE. That's toll-free, 855-450-3733. They'll be speaking at Freedom Fest in the next couple weeks. It's Free Talk Live.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Tent approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and coming up, we'll open the phones up. You'll be able to bring up anything that you want to discuss in hours 2 and 3 of our live Saturday show, which is what we're doing right now. It's Ian here.
And Mark.
Also, we've got John Stossel on the line with us, and he's got his own YouTube channel now, doing his own thing over at johnstossel.com. But you've also got something going on, John, that I remember from back in your ABC News days. Stossel in the Classroom. That thing's still going, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to convince young people before their minds are made up, and these videos, which were once paid for by ABC and then Fox, we would convert for classroom use, and millions of kids watch them. We have 130,000 teachers who signed up to get the free stuff, and it's a way to reach people. And I've got a tax-deductible charity if your listeners would like to help support us.
How could they do that?
Center for Independent Thought is the name of the charity. We're eventually going to have a button at johnstossel.com later in the month, but we don't have it yet. But Center for Independent Thought.
Is there a website associated with that?
.org.
Okay,
Yeah.
.org. Centerforindependentthought.org. That's how you can contribute to getting what I would presume are pretty liberty-friendly ideas into.
I would presume they are
into
too.
government classrooms across the. Is it also private school teachers, or is it only is it mostly government school? Do you know?
I thought it would be mostly private, but it's mostly government school.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think that that's worth pointing out, John. I heard how difficult it might be for a moment getting these ideas out, and they are difficult ideas to get out because the statist ideas are so much more consumable. Everybody's taught in a statist school statist ideas over and over again, and here you are saying, hey, markets are a solution. And I just want to remind you, John Stossel, you've been extraordinarily successful at this. You're probably the most influential libertarian alive today. Ron Paul, it's a close race.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I appreciate you saying I'm influential. And look, something is wrong in that this stuff makes so much sense to me, and I listen to you guys. You guys say it well. You'd think when everybody heard it the way I did, they'd go, oh, yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way, and they'd be convinced. But I can barely convince my wife.
Wow.
Some people's brains are just not ready for this. It's very frustrating.
It is.
And you go to a Liberty, you go to Freedom Fest. It's heavily geeky guys. You guys were fairly aggressive about wanting me on what you said was your busiest time, which is Saturday at 7:00.
That's right.
Non-libertarians are out at a party. So there's something difficult about us.
Well, some of them are listening as they're driving to the party on their radios.
Yeah, they're not missing the party
because we are on a bunch of broadcast stations, more so on Saturday night than any other night of the week. So johnstossel.com, that goes right to your YouTube channel. Are there some other platforms? I think you mentioned Twitter. Where else can people find you online?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So you have this video where you find the best and worst ideas of, I presume, the Democratic candidates that are out there. Can you...
Trump, too.
Yeah, well, all I know is that it sounded enticing, and I didn't have a chance to watch it before the show.
Great job.
It's the most recent video, and I just haven't had a chance to consume it.
I have subscribed to the channel now, by the way.
So can you give us a little teaser for this?
No, you have to go watch
it, dude.
Who's in it?
John Stossel.
All the major people, Trump and Bernie and the new front runner. Actually, I should plug my betting site. The bettors are the most accurate predictor of future elections.
That's true.
If you go to electionbettingodds.com, you'll see that Kamala Harris has passed Biden as front runner.
Now, is that legal now to bet on things on the internet? Didn't the government change? No.
There is a small site, predictit.com, that has been legalized in the United States, but our site is based mostly on the sites that are in Europe and are illegal in the United States. But we're not doing betting. We're just showing you the percent. We're converting them into numbers Americans can understand. And like watching the election returns, it's much more fun looking at that site than watching the anchors make guesses about who's maybe winning in Virginia.
Yeah, this is the site I check it about weekly. It's clear, it's concise, and it's showing who's moving which direction. Looks like Kamala Harris is moving up right now.
So these are coming from European betting markets, is that right?
Yes. Betfair is the biggest.
So the Europeans are betting on the American political election?
Well, that's just where the site's at. Probably
the
Asians,
world
too.
Is betting. I assume Americans are betting there illegally.
Right. Well, now, I don't know. So, we're not attorneys or whatever. This isn't legal advice. But
thank God.
As I understand it, it may not be illegal for an American to bet online if they can get the funding out to whatever the site is. So if they were using like a cryptocurrency, say Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash, that they can then go on to the actual act of using one of these sites, if it's foreign based, because it's not, I don't think it's legal to do them, run the site in America. But I don't think the individual is illegal to participate. It's just that the government here in the U.S. has made it illegal for banks to send money to these sites. So they basically tried to cut off all the funding methods, which leads me to my other question for you, John.
That would be news to me, because if it were legal, wouldn't they advertise here?
That's a good point. Yeah, that may be illegal to advertise gambling in the U.S. as well.
Well, for cryptocurrency, not a lot of people,
you wouldn't know.
So, are you into Bitcoin? Are you into cryptocurrency? Have you been following any of that stuff over the last decade?
Yeah, I bought Bitcoin at 120.
All right, not bad. Hopefully, you held on to it.
I gave most of it to charities when it went way up. I timed it nicely.
Hopefully, the charities held on to it.
Hopefully, you got a good tax deduction out of it.
Hopefully they sold it then, because it then dropped from 20,000 to 4,000.
Well, it depends on which time we're talking
about. Back up to 11 now.
Yeah, 11, 12,000 as we speak. In fact, Free Talk Live is brought to you by Bitcoin.com. That's where you can go to learn more about Bitcoin Cash, and you can even buy and sell Bitcoin Cash now through local.bitcoin.com, which is a great website, very, very handy. So, John, was there anything that you felt like maybe we missed, that something we should have asked you about, but we dropped the ball?
No, I mean 1,000 things, but some other time. And I want to say that it's a smart hedge to buy some cryptocurrency or gold, because the government can't make 1,000,000 times more of it.
Yeah, their governments and banks seem really frustrated by the existence of cryptocurrencies. It's something that's totally out of their hands, it's out of their control, and they don't really know what to do about it, do they?
Our lives are better when government is frustrated.
Yeah. Well, Trump looks like he wants to start devaluing the dollar. He says all the Europeans are doing it and the Chinese are doing it.
You mean printing more dollars out?
That's essentially what that means, yeah. People... I certainly understand they want to be able to travel to Europe and have their, that wouldn't work out that way. The dollar goes well right now in Europe, but it's the people trading there. They don't want their washing machines costing too much or whatever we're manufacturing in the United States.
It would help the manufacturers for a while, but it's not a good thing. And a stable, solid currency is just better. I have a video on money that tries to explain it in 6 minutes that may give you some insight.
It is a difficult subject. Was one of the more tough ones to come up with,
and one that people need to hear about. Though they need to know. They need to understand that the money system in the U.S. and all the other countries, for that matter, it's designed to screw people over. It's designed to be inflationary, which is of course a hidden tax that allows the government to take value out of your savings simply by printing more currency.
Screw people over is a little harsh, but it certainly has been devalued over the years.
Well,
and anybody who was a good saver was hurt.
That's right. When the banks were too big to fail, it was the savers that were harmed by the quantitative easing that kept going through. But
the worst.
I talked to somebody recently about a gold-backed currency, and they said, "Well, doesn't that cause inflation?" No, it goes the opposite. But that's a government school for you.
Yeah.
But if the vast majority of economists think the gold standard is a bad idea, it's complicated.
What do I know? But they always point to things that are just like, well, it doesn't make any sense. Robert Murphy addressed whether or not gold had anything to do with the Great Depression, and in his videos and that kind of thing, and nobody wants to do the research.
John Stossel, it was a pleasure having you on here on Free Talk Live again. We'll look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks, or less than a couple weeks, at Freedom Fest in Vegas.
See you there.
All right, look forward to it. Thanks. JohnStossel.com is his website. Get on over there and subscribe to his YouTube channel. He's doing his own thing now, which is a cool thing. It's nice to see people make that transition successfully from old media to new media, and he's done it. We got more coming up here in moments. If you want to join us, it's the live Saturday edition. This is Free Talk Live.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL. I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,402, silver at $15.03, and Bitcoin is trading at $11,279. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Iran has called for the immediate release of its oil tanker after British Royal Marines boarded and seized it off Gibraltar after it took a long 90-day trek around the tip of Africa, presumably to evade sanctions enforcement en route to Syria. Authorities had accused the Grace 1 supertanker of illegal smuggling, as it had reportedly been transporting some 2 million barrels of Iranian oil. The anti-media reports that Iran's foreign ministry had immediately summoned the UK ambassador over the incident, saying the move was unacceptable. An official statement of protest called for the immediate release of the oil tanker, given that it had been seized at the request of the U.S., based on the information currently available. Iran's position is that the EU sanctions on Syria have not been endorsed by the UN, while the U.S. received the news as a positive development in the global crackdown on Iranian oil. But Syria and Iran, as well as some Arab commentators, have shot back that some of the few dozen Royal Marines seizing the tanker by fast roping it on a helicopter amounts to piracy. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Brazilian government is targeting one of its biggest critics, journalist Glenn Greenwald, in a move decried by observers as an intimidation tactic designed to stifle opposition to right-wing President Bolsonaro. The Government Finance Ministry's money laundering unit was asked by federal police to investigate Greenwald's finances. That's according to a report Tuesday by O Antagonista. The right-wing Brazilian news site said the investigation would focus on whether Greenwald paid for access to leaked records he used in reporting on the Bolsonaro government's Operation Car Wash sting. Activist Post reports that attacks on Greenwald and his family, including husband David Miranda, a member of Brazil's Congress, were criticized by UN and Organization of American States Edison Lanza and David Kaye. Nothing, says Police State USA. Quiet like a SWAT team raiding a family home and killing their dog because they're unable to pay their gas bill. The woman whose dog was killed and home destroyed by SWAT officers is Angela Zorek, and her story about her police state experience will shock the conscience. After fighting the system for nearly 5 years, Zorek's family is finally being compensated. Activist Post reports that according to a lawsuit, which was settled this week, Zorek was the victim of a massive military-style raid and subsequent puppycide. The raid was carried out because police said they needed, quote, to check if her home had electricity and natural gas service, end quote. Zorek admitted to the police she did not have gas, but said she did have electricity. Zorek asked for another inspection to prove that she had utilities. The officers told her that was fine, but the investigation would continue. The next day, April 29, 2014, the home was raided by multiple officers from the St. Louis County Police Tactical Response Unit. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
His name is Osimo. Honda has unveiled its new human-like robot that the team says is designed to run a non-competitive half marathon and then smugly brag about it afterwards. Project leader Kenji Saito calls the robot very aggravating, adding, quote, "We knew how to create a robot that could run great distances at high speeds. The challenge was to build a bot that would be impressed with its own minor achievement. The robot even believes it could run a full marathon if it wanted to, but it's just doing this to stay in shape and have some fun.
If I wanted to, I probably could have played college football."
Aiming to make the android as realistically human as possible, scientists installed sensors to register derisive comments and eye rolls from annoyed coworkers as genuine interest in its self-centered blathering. The team noted that the irritating robot could be useful in medical fields as well. Already, Osimo has pestered scientists into sponsoring it to run a 5K in Cape Cod this summer. To date, it's raised over $700 for leukemia research.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. We're doing our live Saturday edition of the program, and you're invited to join us here. If you would like, you can bring up anything that you want. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We also have our Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm, so feel free to jump into one of those. We'll get you on the air, and then you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us tonight to start this out, because we're kind of like, you know, we're not starting the show now, but we had John Stossel on for the first hour. So if you missed that,
yeah, don't miss an opportunity to have John Stossel on ever.
Right. You know, when we rarely do guests here on Free Talk Live, but if you can get John Stossel, then you should get him, and we were able to. So it's nice to have that. It's actually the second time he's been on Free Talk Live in the last 15 years with us. So it's pretty cool. We're actually going to see him coming up at Freedom Fest in 11 days from now. That's coming up fast. We're going to Vegas. You can see us there and see a bunch of really cool speakers like Penn Jillette and others.
I don't imagine he's going to be hanging out with us. He's got the high rollers to hang out with, you know, sitting back.
We might be able to grab him for a segment or something like that.
That'd be wonderful.
We'll see. He was being very nice.
Yeah, indeed. He's a very kind man.
Yeah. So, American Pride, according to a Gallup survey, this is news.gallup.com, so their own report on their survey here, has hit a new low. American Pride at a new low. Very few, and I wouldn't say few, but less than before, fewer than before, are extremely proud to be an American. This story here.
This is national pride.
That's right.
I see.
As Americans prepare, this was written right before the 4th of July, as Americans prepare to celebrate their 4th of July, their pride in the U.S. has hit its lowest point since Gallup's first measurement in 2001. While 70% of U.S. adults overall say they're proud to be Americans, this includes fewer than half, 45%, who are, quote, extremely, unquote, proud, marking the second consecutive year that this reading is below the majority level. Democrats continue to lag far behind Republicans in expressing extreme pride in the United States.
Well, the Democrats are just kind of mad at the presidency, yeah.
Yep, that's true.
And I'd also say that it seems like if you were to ask a Republican in, say, 2010, after 2 years of Obama, that they wouldn't say, I'm sad about America, because they would distinguish between the presidency and America. Whereas I would think a Democrat would be more likely to say, I don't think America has the standing in the world that we had previously, because they don't have the statesmen that they want to have. And, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this is how this crap goes. It's not like no one told you this. You continue to vote for this every 4 years. Ping pong, ping pong, ping pong. We've had throughout almost my entire lifetime, almost every presidency, it's been 2 years in, and then the next party. 2 years in, then the next party. 2 years in, then the next party. I'm kind of checked out. I don't really care about this stuff. I haven't voted for a major party candidate in like 10 years, for a presidency.
I'm looking at the chart here, Mark. They got the breakdown between Republicans and Democrats and also independents on over time, right? So looking from 2001 to 2019, the Democrats haven't had more than, at any point, 65% of respondents saying they were, quote, extremely proud to be Americans. And that was actually back during the Bush administration. That was 2002 through 2004. There was around 65% responding there. It dropped down to around 55%, as low as 49% in 2007. So then Obama came in at 2008. It started to rise a little bit, but only went up about 10 percentage points, from 45% in 2009 to 56% in 2013. So they've stayed relatively stable on that throughout, actually going down between Bush and Obama, and not really going up that much during Obama, and now going down significantly, down to about 22% during Trump.
I read an article probably 15 years ago where, some Democrat made the statement that basically patriotism is illiberal, was the terminology that he used. And I'm not exactly sure what illiberal is. I hope that I manage to pull that off every single day. But
being illiberal?
Whatever it is. I mean, whatever this guy's doing, I don't want to be doing it. But I do kind of understand. He's like, we're intellectuals. We don't let little lines in the dirt get us all excited, and, then all that kind of stuff. And then, well, at least, one of the parties says, we want to be part of the world's community. And then they work very hard within this particular nation to jam rules down other people's throats. So, whatever. All that stuff sounds wrong to me. But I've thought about this patriotism issue. I'm no patriot, mind you. I certainly used to be. I drove a 76 Eldorado convertible bedecked in American flags. I think I could, make that claim. But I just can't figure out what patriotism does that's positive.
Yeah, it just seems to be mindless worship of the nation state.
And I get it. When I see the F-A-18s fly over the Super Bowl after the long, patriotic video that tells us why we should be, proud Americans, I get it. I do think this nation is better than the other nations. But when it comes to patriotism, what I believe it does, foremost, is get young men and women to work for cheaper wages than they should, for putting their lives on the line to do the bidding of politicians. Mm-hmm. I think that they're tricked into saying that they're, defending our freedoms, because I'm not freer than I was when I was a kid. I'm less so. You go through the airport if you need any proof as to whether or not you're freer.
Absolutely.
And
is that what the military fought for? Was more restrictions, more controls, more checkpoints, more searches?
Yep. And I don't think I have a difficult time seeing the value of the individual lost lives of men and women in the Middle East over the course of the last 20 years to my freedom in this country. I'm not saying that those young men and women aren't brave. I think they absolutely
Well, they were valuable to the oil companies.
You can certainly make an argument that Iraq was...
The oil companies didn't have to pay for all those troops directly, right? So they were subsidized.
Security, yeah.
Yeah, so their security agents were essentially subsidized by the American taxpayers. So their blood is to some extent on those people's hands.
Right. And as far as patriotism goes, it seems like I can't find the positive in it. I'm looking hard. It makes me feel good.
It's because once you're over it, it's one of those things that once you kind of get past, you couldn't possibly, I don't think, easily go back into becoming or repatriating or whatever, repatriotizing yourself. It's one of those things that you just look back on and you're like, oh, wow, I used to believe in that. Well, like you couldn't possibly bring me back into that viewpoint again. Let's go to Larry. We can talk more about Americans being at record lows. Not so proud anymore to be Americans, although still most of them do say they are proud, over 70% still. But extreme pride has gone down below the halfway point. Let's talk to Larry. He's in Nevada watching us online on YouTube. Go ahead, Larry.
Hey, there has been a lot of politics lately, and a lot of people have been sending me just like DMs and just get texting me and trying to get me in person, and they've been sending a lot of KYSs, but I think that I don't know what that stands for. Maybe if y'all can send me in with some information.
I've never heard of that, and I don't know if I should go look. Is it profane? What is a KYS?
I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm in the same boat as you, sir.
How have they sent them to you?
It's number one here is kill yourself.
Oh. I didn't see what I thought it meant was know yourself. I thought they were giving me congrats.
That would have been much more uplifting. That's for sure.
Yeah, second one is keep yourself safe.
What you're telling me is I need to go find a rope.
It says here, keep yourself safe is the second one. No, you asked me what they could be sending you. I'm not recommending that you kill yourself.
Is this Urban Dictionary, Mark?
This is just KYS. What does it stand for? Freedictionary.com.
You're gonna let me talk?
Yeah.
No, I don't like your crappy little attitude.
Thank you. How thick should the rope be?
Thanks for the call,
thick as you want it to be. Make sure you get tie the knot right, because then it snaps your neck.
You don't want it to snap, the rope to snap, right? 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Oh, those youngsters.
By the way, suicide is not the answer most of the time. 855-450-FREE. But it should be legal for those who are absolutely certain that it is the answer. And it's not legal in most places, sadly, in the so-called free country. We got more coming up here.
Kiss your sister.
It's free talk.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Are you dealing with overwhelming credit card debt? Then it's time to get rid of it with a mortgage refinance from American Financing. You'll work with a salary-based mortgage consultant, so there's no pressure and no commission. No upfront fees either. I recommend American Financing because they continue to help customers save $1,000 or more each month without resetting their loan term. You may even be able to postpone up to 2 months of mortgage payments, creating an even greater upfront savings. Not a homeowner yet? Mortgage rates have been falling for the last few months, making it a great time to buy. Get started now by calling 888-804-0303. That's 888-804-0303. Or try their new digital mortgage at AmericanFinancing.net. You can download an instant pre-qualified letter, and you can complete the entire mortgage process online anytime, anywhere. 888-804-0303 or AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and it is the live Saturday edition of the show. You can join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733, or hop into one of our Discord call-in line rooms on our Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm.
AmericanFinancing.net. If you want to, at some point or another, you need a mortgage here, whether you're looking for a refi or you're getting a new house. If you're dealing with a mortgage broker right now, you need to get a second opinion. You can do all that with American Financing. If you go to AmericanFinancing.net, you can start your digital mortgage process right now. You can apply, receive your pre-qualification, and close your loan doing everything online. That's real nice for a certain segment out there. Personally, I'm going to call them on the telephone kind of guy, but you can do what you want to do. That telephone number I'll give you here shortly. So if you're looking to refinance your house or to buy a new house, you probably want a mortgage consultant that is paid by salary rather than a commissioned broker. A commissioned broker is probably going to sell the loan, or going to attempt to sell the loan, and is incentivized certainly to sell the loan that has the largest bonus attached to it. Well, is that what you want? I mean, do you want to have that question in your mind? That doesn't happen with American Financing. They have their salaried mortgage consultants that help you deal with every kind of loan, too. There's not a kind that they don't have. And, by the way, A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau and more than 3,200 Google reviews. It's AmericanFinancing.net, and the telephone number is 888-808-0303. 888-804-0303. I think I might have given a 3 instead of that 4. 888-804-0303. AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334. That's NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
They've done some interesting things in this Gallup survey. Apparently, for the first time, they actually broke down the survey is generally about American pride, finding that there are fewer Americans that are extremely proud to be Americans than ever before, at least in the history of Gallup asking this question, which started back in 2001. But they also asked questions about, well, what are you proud? What are the things that make you most proud? And so they broke it down: American scientific achievements, the military, American culture and arts, American economic achievements, sporting achievements, U.S. diversity, the American healthcare and welfare system, and finally the American political system. And you might be able to guess which of those categories of which people are the least proud.
The healthcare system.
No, the American political system.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, although the healthcare was just above that one, as far as also it was the second least prideful.
Well, as John Stossel just said here, 7 out of 8 dollars that's spent in healthcare is spent by the government.
Wow. Remember when we used to do this show like a decade ago? It was like 60% or something like that.
Right. It started out basically 1 out of every 2 government dollars is every dollars in healthcare is government dollars. We have a half socialized system. Now you have a 7/8
now
socialized system.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's go to your calls and thoughts. We can talk more about the survey here, the poll. But John is on the line listening in Philadelphia. Go ahead, John.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
What's on your mind, John?
All right, so I was wondering what you guys thought about Donald Trump running in 2020.
It
really?
seems obvious, like a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, he's going to run. What do you think about it?
I think it's good. I think he's really trying to prove something with people, not really liking him. And
What's
trying
he
to come back from it.
How's he going to prove, how's he going to change people's minds about him?
Well, I'm asking you.
Well, I don't care.
Trump hasn't hired me as a campaign consultant. Not my job.
Thanks for the call. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
I would be the best campaign consultant that he ever had.
I did pledge that if Trump sets Ross Ulbricht free from prison, that I will go ahead and vote for him. I did make that pledge.
I made the same pledge. I will right here on the air if Trump goes ahead and pardons Ross Ulbricht, and I think I probably would do it if he pardoned Ed Snowden. Either if he did Ed Snowden.
Well, he hasn't been convicted of anything.
But you could still be pardoned.
You can get a pre-conviction pardon?
Yeah, that's what happened to Nixon.
Huh. Okay.
Ford gave it to him.
I don't think Snowden would want to come back here, even if he did get the pardon.
I don't know what Snowden would want, but he probably doesn't want to have to look over his shoulder for CIA agents for the rest of his life.
No doubt. Let's continue here, and we can go to David in New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live. Hello.
Well, if they really wanted to take him out, they probably could take him out in Russia.
I'm sure they probably could.
And did you say John Stossel?
We had an hour of John Stossel at the very beginning of the show. If you missed it, you can grab the archive tonight at freetalklive.com a little bit later on.
Yeah, I didn't miss it. And so it happened again. Wonderful New Mexico, known to the FBI as the most corrupt state in the nation. And I actually like this guy, so I'm not going to make it too personal. But 20-year Senator Richard Martinez. The video's online, and 14-year judge. Arrested for aggravated DWI. After
what is aggravated DWI?
Doesn't that usually mean you hit somebody?
It means different things. It means if you're over twice the legal limit, or if you cause injuries because of it, or if you. They also wrote in there that if you refuse the breathalyzer test, then that makes it aggravated as well.
So how can they give you a DUI if you refuse the test?
Are you really asking me that question? Come on, Mark, you're smarter than that.
Well, it's
so you're saying,
it's a claim.
How can you? Well, go ahead, ask the question again.
How can they convict somebody for a DUI if you refuse the test? I mean, they don't have evidence.
If they're behind the wheel and they're vomiting and they get out of the vehicle and they can't stand up and they're slurring their speech and they think that they're in some other country and you're obviously under the influence of something, even though you didn't take.
Now hold on. Did all of that happen in this Richard Martinez case?
Well, watch the video. It's rather entertaining. He can't really do any field sobriety tests in any sort of coherent manner. But anyway, the point is that we have government. This guy's a judge. He's a senator. He's the chair of the Judiciary Committee in New Mexico. And here's another fun one. And the cops covered for him. The cops, you can see on the video if you watch. There's an 11-minute video which is the longest one I find, that rather than just the minute-and-a-half excerpt one. But it shows one of the cops on the other cop's video saying, "Hey, do you got anything to cover up this senator license plate on the back of his crashed vehicle?"
Oh, wow. So
Yeah,
people wouldn't
and so that
notice
guy
it as they were driving by?
Right, yeah, the red license plate that says SEN 5, Senator 5. And so that cop's name, New Mexico State Police, I believe he was, his Lance Pepper is his name. And then another fun fact is that this guy crashed, the judge crashed his vehicle drunk and injured himself and sent the people he crashed into to the hospital with at least minor injuries. He did this on the day that a law that he passed, that was one of his babies. I don't know exactly how he was involved with it. He was the bill sponsor or what. But anyway, where in New Mexico, private gun transfers now require a background check.
Well, he's so worried about keeping people safe, obviously. More coming up here. Thanks, David. It's Free Talk Live.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up, and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished. Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being. despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and it is the live Saturday edition of the show. You can dial toll-free and join us here. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in lines over at discord.lrn.fm, and with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Also, Free Talk Live brought to you by My Magic Mud.
Love My Magic Mud.
It is a great product, and it seems to be loved by pretty much everybody here on Free Talk Live, and most of them didn't even know they were coming on to advertise with us. We brought them up, and every host has had their own personal story just kind of on their own because it's that good of a product just on its own, but beyond being an advertiser here on Free Talk Live.
Right. There's a few products out there where you use it, have this incredible experience, and you're just like, well, I'm going to use this forever. And that's how it was for me with My Magic Mud. I tried it out, and you got to use it for about 4 days. For 2 minutes, 4 times, once every day for 4 days, and I could see the stains coming off of my teeth. I was so impressed. I had no idea I had stains on my teeth. How would you know that? So there, it's coming right off, and now I use it every 4 to 7 days, and it's a great product. Love it, and I'll be probably using it again this evening. MyMagicMud.com. If you go to MyMagicMud.com, now, by the way, you can get it at, Sprouts, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, Natural Grocers, most major health food stores. You can get it all over the place. And it's a great product. You should get it all over the place. Because not only does it whiten your teeth, in my opinion, it also cleans them in a superior fashion to toothpaste. I don't recommend using it every time you brush, but I do recommend using it at once or twice a week. But if you go to MyMagicMud.com, you can get 20% off of this great product. Try it out. Here's your introductory offer. Go to MyMagicMud.com. Use coupon code FTL20. That's the key. Use FTL20, you get 20% off. It's like $13 for a little tub of it, and it lasts for a long time. It's real value. You take the 20% off of that, and then, I don't know, you do the math. MyMagicMud.com. Love it.
So we've been talking about this news from the Gallup organization, polling firm that has been asking Americans over the last, not quite 20 years, since 2001, whether they're proud to be Americans, and if so, how proud. And the numbers of Americans who are extremely proud has dropped to below half. It is now at 45%, marking the second consecutive year that this reading is below the majority level. So it is the lowest point since Gallup's first initial measurement back in 2001. The findings are explored further with new measurements of the public's pride in 8 aspects of the U.S. government and society. As we mentioned earlier, the pride in the government itself and the American political system, only 32% of respondents said that the American political system makes them proud, while 68% said it does not. Which I'm glad to see. I like that number.
Well, civic pride runs 2 ways. First, it's comparative.
Mm-hmm.
So which political process do you think is better than the United States?
Are you asking me that?
Yeah, you.
Anyone that doesn't exist.
Right. So none is the answer.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, if you've got a king that's actually like freedom friendly or whatever, then that would be better than the American system because there would be no political process whatsoever, and you'd have a relatively laissez-faire king. I've heard that is it Liechtenstein?
Liechtenstein. That's
supposedly?
Prince Philip. I believe it's Philip of Liechtenstein wrote the state in the 21st century, and
isn't he supposed to be kind of libertarian?
Yeah, certainly. Well, most autocrats are going to be, the sort of traditional nobles, that kind of thing. Yeah, sure.
What did you just say? Most autocrats would be
well, that's what they would have been called back then.
What would make a king more likely to be liberty friendly? I'm not sure what you're
There weren't social welfare programs going on when, kings were doing kingly things. And
yeah, but
most
weren't they like lobbing people's heads off for being disobedient or whatever?
They lobbed people's heads off under republics, too.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, republics are kind of known for
I don't know if you
head
can say that, just because you're a king means you're more likely to care about freedom. I don't think there's any evidence for that.
All I can tell you is that what we study in history...
A lot of them went to wars.
Yeah, in history we study wars because wars are more interesting than peace.
Mm-hmm. And that would suggest that they're not liberty-friendly.
Wars are expensive, too. If a king wants to pay for a war
taxes.
and out for a war, pay out and all that stuff, then he can do that.
Right. So I don't know why you would say that kings and other, people like that would somehow be friendly to freedom in general. It doesn't seem like the history really points to that at all.
I don't. I think that there's a lot of evidence that that's the case. I mean, when you look at the republics of the United States and France, these are two major republics of the 20th century, and neither one of them is particularly peacefully oriented.
Sure.
You look at...
But King George wasn't a great guy.
King George II?
Whichever one. You take your pick.
Okay, for the United States Revolution?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that the King George was probably a pretty good king and pretty lax for the colonies, but they needed a figurehead to go after. What their real problem was Parliament. And Parliament had some reasonable claims against the colonists. It was just a perfect storm, as it were, for the colonies to secede. But I'd ask you this. Canada didn't secede. The United States did. We have two countries with very similar demographics and very similar histories alongside each other. Mm-hmm. Right now, the Heritage Foundation, not exactly a liberal bastion, that one, now ranks Canada as slightly, marginally freer than the United States. How'd your revolution go?
Yeah, I mean, by all means, the U.S. is not the freest place. You had suggested earlier that you thought that it was. No, I'd said that I think I love this country and I think it's great compared to other countries. Yeah. But if it's not freer than other countries, then does that mean that it's greater than other countries?
The aggregate of freedom does nothing for me in my life.
Sure it does.
No.
The more freedom you have, the more opportunities you have.
Sure, I could have the freedom to gay marry and never do it. How would that freedom benefit me?
If you have more freedom economically, you could start a business that you otherwise wouldn't be able to.
Sure, I'm all for economic freedoms, and I like those, but there may be economic freedoms that I'm not going to use. The freedoms that I want are the freedoms that I'm going to use.
Hold on, whether you use the freedoms or not is immaterial. It's other people being able to use those freedoms makes your life better because they're free to make their own choices. They're free to start their own business that may ultimately benefit you through the fact that they're offering good products or services or employing your neighborhood or whatever it is that they're doing.
You won't find me arguing against economic freedoms. What I will argue for is that you probably should focus on the freedoms that benefit you the most, as opposed to just a sort of an aggregate freedom number. In the United States, what we're really good at is making money still. Now, maybe if I was a young man, I might head to Southeast Asia. I might head to China. I might look for some of these places. There may be a better chance for a young person who can pull up stakes. But for a 48-year-old, yeah, the United States is a great place to make money.
So if you want to join us here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. And according to the Gallup survey, they're saying that U.S. adults' extreme pride in being American has been steadily weakening in recent years, and the current reading from a June 3rd through 16th Gallup poll marks the lowest point to date. However, the latest 2 percentage point decline came from last year's 47%. Again, this is the number of Americans that are extremely proud to be
How was it
Americans.
2002, right after 9/11?
Well, this is right when they started the survey, would have been in 2001 and then 2002. So if we're looking at overall pride, the number of you want to look at the extreme pride number. 2001, it was 55%. It then bumped up to 70% by 2003. So there was definitely a notable 15 percentage point increase. By the time 2006 rolled around, though, so just 3 years later, it was right back down to 57%. It held steady at about 57% through around...
I think the United States would have been, if the Bush administration would have come up with a reason to invade Canada during, those times, the U.S. people would have gone for it.
So it held steady through about 2013 at around 57%, and then it has been declining since then, 51% in 2017, down to 45% just this last month. Our toll-free number here, if you want to share your thoughts on, are you feeling proud? And if you're proud to be an American, are you extremely proud? It's Free Talk Live.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771. For your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-301-5435. That's 800-301-5435. 800-301-5435.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and we're here on the live Saturday edition. You may take control of the airwaves and bring up whatever you want. Are you proud to be an American? And if you are proud today, are you less proud than you were in the past? And of what is it that you're exactly proud? You know, is it the government? Or is it something else? The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Gallup has been asking some of these questions to people, and they've been asking them over most of the last 2 decades. And this year's poll, which was just conducted last month, has record low numbers of Americans reporting that they are, quote, extremely proud, while there is a different number of people who are very proud, which is higher than those who are extremely proud. Still, the numbers are lower now than they were in the past. And if you want to comment, you're welcome to join the show. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. By the way, I want to say thanks to What's the Frequency Kenneth, who is a Free Talk Live Silver amplifier.
Has been a long time.
Yep, you can go to amp.freetalklive.com, and that is where you can join the AMP program, as What's the Frequency Kenneth has done and has been for a while. And you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group. If you're still hanging out on Facebook, that's a good one to go and join. And you'll get in there if you're an amplifier. Also, there's supporters-only chat rooms on our Discord server that you'll get access to as an amplifier as well, plus some other perks and benefits. Go to amp.freetalklive.com, plus it helps us get on more radio stations. As I mentioned earlier tonight, we're on over 200 stations over the week. We don't have all 200 on at one moment, but over an entire week's worth of broadcasts, we are heard on over 200 radio stations coast to coast. We could be on 300 or more. It's possible. We just need to effectively market the show, and that's what AMP is all about. Advertise, market, promote. That's what AMP stands for. So join it over at amp.freetalklive.com. You can use PayPal. You can use credit card or Bitcoin BTC. It's ampamp.freetalklive.com. The more information here from the Gallup survey, down from 47% last year to 45% this year, is the number of Americans who say they are extremely proud of America, or being an American, I guess. The highest readings on the measure, 69 and 70%, were between 2002 and 2004 after the 9/11 terrorist attacks.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, then later, the American government dropped a bunch of bombs on innocent people, and well, luckily Americans got a little sick of being involved in these conflicts. And further, it says here that Democrats continue to express low pride in being an American. They showed that the overall declines in patriotism are largely driven by Democrats. Their self-reported pride historically has been lower in general and has fluctuated more than the Republicans. Democrats' latest 22% extreme pride reading is the group's lowest in Gallup's 19 years of measurement.
It's kind of the narrative that you would expect out of Republicans. Oh, those Democrats, they don't like America.
I gotta
America
say,
hating is terminology that's used on talk radio and Fox News.
I am not a Democrat, but I don't like the United States government. Do I like America? Sure. I like the land mass and, generally the people. But then again, I like the people in other places and parts of the world as well, because people tend to just be people, no matter wherever it is that you go. America does have, or at least North America, specifically the United States portion of it, does have a bit of a more of a freedom-friendly past than some other countries do, in some ways, obviously, and not in others. But the relative economic freedom that the United States has had has put us in a pretty good position on the
right,
world
and I feel
stage.
like the politicians have squandered that at pretty much every opportunity that they get. I tend to agree with you on that. I say that that's kind of what politicians do.
Squander?
And, yeah, as long as people will put their destiny in the hands of politicians in this sort of unthinking fashion, that's one of the things that bothers me about patriotism. So what is the United States government? The United States government is
a criminal organization.
Is a service.
Like all governments.
Is a service organization, right?
That's being awfully nice.
It is. Well, that's what they've set themselves up to be.
You mean by service, you mean they're serving themselves with our money and obedience?
That's the monopoly aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
They're monopoly service organizations. So they say, we're providing you with protection. We're providing you with
but they're not.
Education.
They're not providing us with protection.
I understand that.
They're providing
but that's
themselves with protection. They'll protect their own buildings, but they're not interested in your own house or whatever. They're going over across the world and dropping bombs on people. They're creating terrorism, and they're putting us in greater danger.
Well, it's
under all presidents.
It's the best kind of protection service for the service organization, the kind where you're not responsible. The United States Supreme Court has been abundantly clear that the government has no responsibility to protect you.
Well, that's a crappy service then.
Agreed. But that's what they are, right? It's a service organization.
I think you're being way too generous with that.
Well, that's what they're saying they are. All right? So
they lie.
Give me my premise for a minute.
No.
Here. Okay. They are a service organization, and service organizations, no one stands there and salutes a service organization.
I don't think it's fair,
No one puts their hand over their heart and says, I love Walmart. No, they're not the Kiwanis Club. The Kiwanis Club is full of people that are trying to help kids.
Well, that's what I think of when I think of a service organization, people that are giving of their time voluntarily to assist the community, to assist individuals, to assist people in need, and accepting donations. That's a service organization. The government's a criminal organization of people who steal money and threaten folks and kill innocent people. How could you dare even call them a service organization?
When you say a criminal organization, the first thing that people think is, are they running hookers? Are they running
No, God,
numbers?
if they were doing something like that, they'd actually be doing something useful.
Well, not if they
criminal
were running
as in thugs.
a monopoly.
Criminal as in violence. Criminal as in awful, dangerous, evil people who hurt
They're
peaceful
not evil.
people.
They're just ordinary folks that are working within the system.
In positions of power, they're doing evil things.
Positions of power tend to corrupt the people that go into those
These are not
positions.
service. This is not a service. This is not
are
valuable.
an organization that has set themselves up to provide service in a monopoly fashion, and this is what we get when we get it. And when people put their hands over their hearts and say, I love this country, I love this, that, what they're doing is they're empowering these people of which you speak. And they're saying, all right, well, you've done a wonderful job so far. What I say is that, maybe the United States is in the top 20 countries in the world. I think it's slipping, and I think that it could do better. And that if it does better, I'll be happier with it as an organization. I'd like to see it be really awesome and get back to the whole land of the free thing. I think that'd be great.
I don't think it was ever that.
Well, I
ask
think
a
there's
black
good
person.
What's
Ask
that?
an Indian.
Well, somebody's ethnicity doesn't mean anything to me as far as their ability
I mean
to
an
answer the
American
question.
Indian.
What's that?
I mean an American Indian.
Uh-huh.
Ask them if they feel like there was a free country.
I can understand totally why some American Indians would be very upset at the notion of being under the thumb of the United States government. But on the other hand, you got to remember that many of them have fought in world wars and given their lives for, well, presumably this country. So, you'll
That's
get a
not
variety
persuasive.
of answers.
Yeah. I'm talking about, in the past, they were slaughtered, obviously, by the people who founded this nation or whatever. And then, of course, there's also blacks that were considered not full men. They were considered slaves at that time. So, I mean, by no means are we talking about a past that involves freedom for people.
Well, I mean, the United States government...
There may have been less economic regulation.
Yeah, its military was the first to allow blacks to serve. I mean,
You mean die for politicians? Wow, we should be proud of that, huh?
When other organizations would not let them work.
They also let women die for politicians, too, now.
They're working on that,
Yeah. And gay people can die for politicians now. Wow.
Yeah. Well, now you can
Boy,
wear...
isn't that nice?
You can wear women's clothes and die for people. I don't care. Again, I'm only
what's your
pointing
point?
out. What do you mean?
I don't know. What's your point?
My point is that you can look at those issues either way. What I would say is that is Walmart going to get to be a better business if all you do is talk about how awesome it is? And I think the answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to send feedback to your service organization as much as you can.
What kind of fantasy world are you living in, thinking that you can give feedback to the government and they're going to give a flip about it? They don't care about what you think. They're not like Walmart. They use violence against people, and they use the threat of violence against people, and the only time you have a chance to give any kind of input to them is once every 4 years, or every 2 if you're lucky in a state government, where you get to go vote on some stupid selection of jackballs who wants to tell you how to live your life. And they're not actually listening to you. You're just voting. And then when they win, they think, boy, all these people love me and all my
It's amazing,
ideas.
isn't it?
And they'll just put in whatever ideas I want to and shove it down your throat.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Whereas business is constantly, and John Stossel actually made a reference to this early on, business is constantly listening. Now, the bigger businesses are going to be slower to change. There's no doubt about that. I mean, they're more bureaucratic.
And some won't.
And some won't, and they'll die as a result of that. Because if you don't change in business, you go out of business, unless, of course, the government's there to bail you out. So if you don't change as the market is demanding, and the market is giving you signals all the time, if you don't listen and you don't do what they want, you're done for. Just like GameStop. I was reading an article about them. Man, not a good year for for the world's largest video game store. Their stock price has been tumbling big time, and well, their business model is pretty much going to be pulled out from underneath them, like selling physical media. Good luck with that. More coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,402, silver at $15.03, and Bitcoin is trading at $11,279. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Iran has called for the immediate release of its oil tanker after British Royal Marines boarded and seized it off Gibraltar, after it took a long 90-day trek around the tip of Africa, presumably to evade sanctions enforcement en route to Syria. Authorities had accused the Grace 1 supertanker of illegal smuggling, as it had reportedly been transporting some 2 million barrels of Iranian oil. The anti-media reports that Iran's foreign ministry had immediately summoned the UK ambassador over the incident, saying the move was unacceptable. An official statement of protest called for the immediate release of the oil tanker, given that it had been seized at the request of the U.S., based on the information currently available. Iran's position is that the EU sanctions on Syria have not been endorsed by the UN, while the U.S. received the news as a positive development in the global crackdown on Iranian oil. But Syria and Iran, as well as some Arab commentators, have shot back that some of the few dozen Royal Marines seizing the tanker by fast roping it on a helicopter amounts to piracy. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Brazilian government is targeting one of its biggest critics, journalist Glenn Greenwald. in a move decried by observers as an intimidation tactic designed to stifle opposition to right-wing President Bolsonaro. The Government Finance Ministry's money laundering unit was asked by federal police to investigate Greenwald's finances. That's according to a report Tuesday by O Antagonista. The right-wing Brazilian news site said the investigation would focus on whether Greenwald paid for access to leaked records he used in reporting on the Bolsonaro government's Operation Car Wash sting. Activist Post reports that attacks on Greenwald and his family, including husband David Miranda, a member of Brazil's Congress, were criticized by UN and Organization of American States Edison Lanza and David Calle. Nothing, says Police State USA. Quite like a SWAT team raiding a family home and killing their dog because they're unable to pay their gas bill. The woman whose dog was killed and home destroyed by SWAT officers is Angela Zorek, and her story about her police state experience will shock the conscience. After fighting the system for nearly 5 years, Zorek's family is finally being compensated. Activist Post reports that according to a lawsuit, which was settled this week, Zorek was the victim of a massive military-style raid and subsequent puppycide. The raid was carried out because police said they needed, quote, to check if her home had electricity and natural gas service, end quote. Zorek admitted to the police she did not have gas, but said she did have electricity. Zorek asked for another inspection to prove that she had utilities. The officers told her that was fine, but the investigation would continue. The next day, April 29, 2014, the home was raided by multiple officers from the St. Louis County Police Tactical Response Unit. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Researchers have definitively concluded that all of it, is some kind of sick joke. The Princeton study suggests that the entirety of existence, including time, marriage, migratory patterns of birds, continental drift, life itself, photosynthesis, human society, and the changing of the seasons, are all part of a massive, twisted ruse orchestrated by a spiteful cosmos.
Look at you morons, taking a stupid video for your pointless newspaper. Everything's a joke. I'm a joke, you're a joke, the whole universe is a joke.
We at the Onion Week in Review are compelled to inform viewers that while this entire segment is indeed one small part of the giant perverse joke, the upshot is that the next minute of your life will be no more or less pointless than if you were to spend it with a loved one, mentoring an at-risk youth, or simply wallowing in your own feculence. In other news, Harley Davidson and Jack Daniels collaborate on a local felony. A churchgoer blanks on why she's lighting a votive candle. And please ring the bell and the boy will come round momentarily for your bags. For more news, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
It is Free Talk Live. We're here on this live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live. You can join us. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Are you feeling proud to be an American? Well, Gallup survey, a poll recently done, shows that a number that is lower than they've ever seen in this poll, which they've been doing since 2001, that the number of Americans who describe themselves as extremely proud to be an American is now at an all-time low at 45%. Now, it's still a lot of people who say they are extremely proud to be an American, but it is the lowest number that they've found in the last 18 years of the survey. And further, when you break down the demographics, because we talked about how the Republicans and Democrats were very statistically different on this. Democrats, only 22% in this survey are saying they are extremely proud, while 76% of Republicans are saying they are extremely proud. And just to be clear, there's been a discrepancy between Republicans and Democrats throughout the Barack Obama and the George Bush administrations as well.
Well, they're America haters, so.
Well, I mean, look, I don't hate any concept necessarily. It's just that I don't like the American government. and I think that they need to go away. Personally, I would love to see secession happen. We talked a lot about that on July 4th, on our Independence Day edition of Free Talk Live. Chris Reitman was heading up the show, and I don't know if he came out of the closet as a secessionist, but he certainly came out very strongly in favor of secession, which I was really happy to hear about. Further,
I like a lot of things that I like a couple of things that the federal government does.
Really?
So, for instance, you're not getting checked at the border of New Hampshire when you head on into Massachusetts.
That's not them doing something. That's the lack of them doing something.
They are making it so it's what we call interstate commerce. Okay.
When an organization does nothing, you can't say they're doing something.
All right. They are preventing the state governments from doing the blue glove love on you every time you walk in.
I'd rather take my chances.
I don't want that. Thanks.
So you'd rather have a trillion-dollar, multi-trillion-dollar bureaucratic...
Oh, these are my choices?
Yeah, because you don't get a choice of a small federal government.
Well, you don't get a choice of a small state government either.
The American or the New Hampshire government is much smaller.
Once you kill off the federal government, then the state government's going to expand into those roles.
I suspect the New Hampshire government won't be as expansive.
I like your optimism when it comes to New Hampshire.
If you look at New Hampshire compared to other states, actually it doesn't have
it grows more
huge
slowly.
Debt load like these other states do. In fact, I think there's the American Debt Clock website where it shows you the debt loads of all the different state governments around, and like New Hampshire and Vermont are actually doing all right compared to a lot of the other states.
Yeah, there's a lot of nice things to say about New Hampshire and Vermont.
In the United States.
But we were talking about the federal government, what I liked that they did.
Right, so you like that they don't do anything when it comes to stopping you at the border.
They prevent states from setting up
do they?
Most kind of checks. I mean,
because in California, you go over there and they're like, whoa, we need to make sure you don't have any oranges.
Yep,
they have checkpoints.
They do.
In California. So you're wrong about that, Mark. The federal government hasn't stopped that.
It doesn't surprise me that California and maybe even New York would figure out some way to put up a checkpoint.
I'd rather see the abolishment, the withdrawing from the federal government, and then let states figure it out on their own. We do not need to have a large or even a small organization overseeing. If they want to have some sort of a compact between the states, that's fine. If they want to have an agreement that products and services will cross borders without tariffs and things like that, that they could do that on their own. We don't need the federal government for that. But anyway, let's break down a little bit more here into this study, because it's interesting. I like seeing that people are losing their pride in the idea of the American government, and they do actually break down differences between categories of things that people are proud about. So people are proud about American scientific achievements. That's a good one.
Yeah,
91%. 91% of Americans are proud of that. Unfortunately, they are proud of the military, which I'm disappointed to see that because the military is just the violent arm of the government that enforces the will of politicians around the world.
It's a lot of their kids, and why wouldn't you be proud of your kid for making a choice to go into a job that is,
I would have tried to talk him out of it.
Probably better than what many of their contemporaries are doing. Many of the people that they went to high school with.
What do you mean better? How is it better to be the servant of a scumbag politician doing the murderous bidding of Republicans and Democrats all around the world, playing some role in killing innocent people? At least if you're serving hash browns at McDonald's, you're helping people stave off hunger. You're making them feel good.
I wish that they were serving hash browns at McDonald's. In many cases, you're talking about kids who, don't get they're going off to college, piling up, $100,000 debt for a degree they're not going to be able to use, or they're going off and getting no job at all because the government school system hasn't set them up for any real employment.
Okay, so just because the government school system sucks doesn't mean that it's honorable or good.
I didn't claim it was.
Join the military.
People tend to be proud of their kids anyway, and I can see why some people look at the military as a better choice than many of their options.
Yeah, I can see why they would do that. They're wrong because you're, becoming a tool of the state, and you are basically agreeing to get rid of any ability that you have to make decisions for yourself, like, the decision to quit. In return,
well, young people aren't known for making great decisions anyway, so
that's okay. At least you can
turning
make
over
a
their decision making to adults sounds like a better idea.
That's
to
a
many
terrible
adults.
idea. And that does not make you an adult to, let somebody else make your decisions for you. That's what a child does. And so, no, that's not impressive to me in any way, shape, or form at all. The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, is 855-450-FREE. But 85% of the respondents to the poll said they were proud of American culture and arts. Okay, cool. American economic achievements, 75%. 73% are proud of American sporting achievements. The 72% proud of the U.S. diversity in race, ethnic background, and religion. And then it drops significantly to 37% that are proud about the American health and welfare system. And finally, at the bottom of the list, 32% are proud of the American political system. So there's a huge discrepancy between 32% of Americans proud of the American political system, but yet 89% of Americans proud of the U.S. military. I got news for you. The U.S. military is just part of the American political system. And you've managed to, they've fooled you over time through their propaganda, which has been very effective. I mean, usually government doesn't do things particularly effectively. They pretty much suck at everything. But, you got to give them credit for this. They have managed to pull the wool over people's eyes pretty effectively and brainwash them into believing that there's, something cool about working, doing the bidding of politicians, because that's what the U.S. military is there for.
Yeah, if you can get the job training cheap, I don't see why.
That's crap.
What?
The people who've actually been in the military that have talked to us about this will tell you that that's garbage. Their job training is useless for the real world.
You need to be very, very careful how you sign that contract. That contract is the most important part of this. And if it's telling that they turn that contract signing over to 18-year-olds, mind you, people that they say are unqualified to have, I don't even know much of a credit card balance, but they can sign away 4 years of their lives. But if you sign that contract right, then you can get the job training that you're looking for. But you got to know what you want to get when you go in. If you just say, "Hi, I'd like to join the military," you're going to sleep in a muddy hole.
So, of the respondents, there's an interesting difference between the demographics and age. 65 plus respondents, 63% of them extremely proud to be an American. You go to the 50 to 64 demographic, it drops to 57%. You go to the 30 to 49 demographic, it drops to 38%. And the 18 to 29 demographics, basically the millennials, and a couple of years of the Zennials or whatever they're called, Generation Z, 24%, only 24%, about 1 out of every 4 young people in the United States, 18 to 29, are saying they're extremely proud to be Americans. That's a huge difference between those in the baby boomers at 65 plus. Now, Mark, do you think that number is going to go up over time? Is it possible that those 18 to 29-year-olds, as they get older, will become more proud to be Americans, or is it going to stay that way or drop?
I really can't tell you what 18 to 29-year-olds think. I mean, I'm just not plugged in.
Are you more or less proud to be an American today than you were in the past?
I believe that patriotism is a negative emotion, and I have tried to drive it out. I think that it binds you to politicians who will only use it against you.
855-450-FREE if you want to join us.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynavite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? 1? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is, the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Saturday edition of the show. We'll take your calls about whatever's on your mind. Our toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Coming up, how much does a bunk bed cost in San Francisco? We'll tell you the new thing in housing over there because, well, it's hard to find any place to live in San Francisco. Why you would want to, I'm not clear. But, you know, we can get into that.
It's supposed to be a pretty hip place, but, you know, this is what happens when government gets its little claws into housing.
Yeah, we can talk more about it on the way here tonight. It's Ian and Mark in the studio on this live episode of Free Talk Live on Saturday night. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, and we are live all 7 nights a week. That's 855-450-3733. If we don't get us on your local radio station all 7 nights a week live for all 3 hours a night, well, you can always reach out to your local program director and, you know, tell them that you want to hear more Free Talk Live. Or tell them how terrible we are and, you know, that you want us taken off the air. Whatever it is, at least you'll be giving them some feedback. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Let's talk to Dan. He's in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Dan, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Mark.
Okay, I don't know who was bashing the military there, but the reason you can go on the radio and say what you're saying, well, to a certain point, is because of our military. There's plenty of countries that like to come over here and take away our way of life, and our only protection, whether you like it or not, is our military.
That's false, sir.
So I don't know.
That's false.
Oh, you think so, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will refer you to the apocryphal quote from some Japanese general or whatever in World War II that the reason they wouldn't invade the U.S. mainland is because there was a rifle behind every blade of grass. Had nothing to do with the military.
Is that right?
Yeah,
so,
it has everything to do with the right to bear arms, the right to defend yourself.
I agree with you 100%.
Oh, okay, so we agree. Cool.
on that subject. Let me ask you a question. How old are you?
What does it matter?
Well, because you've got that very slighted liberal slang. You have no idea what people and the sacrifices we made to make this country what it is today. And you want to sit there and say, well, we could have done it this way and that. No, that's so untrue.
Hold on. I'm the other guy. My name's Mark. Didn't socialism rise from the late 1800s through the 1900s and, during the time that you're talking about? I mean, isn't that when socialism in America has taken hold? You're taking credit for that?
Socialism in America?
Yes.
We're not a socialist country.
Are you familiar with Social Security? Are you familiar with Medicare?
Social Security is something that if you work, your money goes into
It's a socialized old age insurance program. I'm not advocating for it. It's the worst damn investment in history. But if you're going to take credit for how great America is, you need to take responsibility for the rise of socialism in this country. I wish you'd take it back.
I wish you would know a little bit more than you're out there spouting off.
Well, what have I got wrong?
Our land. If someone came onto our land, my son right now is a fifth-generation military person, and his training is unbelievable. You're saying that you can't do any. My brother served. My father served.
You're right, Mark. This is all about family members, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always family members.
Well,
right.
No,
you understand they're serving politicians, right? Like, they're not serving you and me. They're serving politicians. They're doing what the government politicians tell them to do.
They're not going to protect your house. They're protecting the White House.
They are protecting our way of life.
Okay, if that was true, they do what Smedley Butler, the guy who won 3 Medal of Honors, or would have won 3 if he won 2, but he would have won 3. They would do what he said, which is to keep the Navy within 500 miles of the United States and keep the military inside of its borders. Instead, there's 800 military bases around the world. That's projecting military power. That's projecting corporate power. It's not projecting your power.
No. You are wrong.
Okay.
The only protection that we have...
You're right, Mark. You're wrong. It's like 1,000 military bases, not 800.
You are wrong, because without the protection of our military, our country is up for grabs.
I'm not talking about disbanding the military. I'm talking about bringing every soldier, sailor, and Marine back to the United States on on the fastest smoking thing that we can put out there, and then putting the vast majority of them to work in the marketplace.
Are you kidding me right now?
I don't know. Pat Buchanan says the same thing. You don't call him a youngster. I'm 48 years old, by the way.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. I mean, you're older than I thought you'd be. But I tell you what,
Well, you thought I was a liberal, too, so you've gotten a few things wrong this evening.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you. You just don't know, because you have family that has served in the military.
Yeah, my father was a third-generation West Point captain. Are you going to salute him?
Both of my grandfathers served in the military.
And what was their experience in the military? You bash on it.
What difference does it make what their experience is?
I don't
care.
I'm
talking about historical people like Smedley Butler that said the United States, and George Washington that said the United States should not be involved in foreign entanglements.
I know what they did in the military. They took orders from politicians who are scum. Do you like politicians? Do you like politicians, sir? Do you like them?
You know what? I do not like politicians.
Do you trust politicians?
So who tells the military what to do?
I understand that in order for our country to survive the way of life, we need our military.
What is this way of life exactly that is being protected by the military?
That sounds like a faith-based statement.
I want to know exactly what it is that the military is protecting in your way of life, sir. Be specific.
Take your show to China. See how that would go over.
Right. Oh, look, we did the show already, and I said, look, the United States is a better country than most of them, and I'm not expecting to be freer in China. But just because the United States is good or better than most doesn't mean that there's not a lot of room for improvement. Remember, Bosch, who created the fuel injection system, didn't hate carburetors and he didn't hate cars, okay? I'm talking about how to make something better. And you're talking about, well, why don't you move to Somalia and get chlamydia and cholera? I mean, like, this is some pretty simple stuff here you're hitting me with.
The simple stuff that I'm hitting you is the fact that we overlook every day because everyone thinks they have a better idea.
My better idea is that the young men and women of this country's lives have been wasted over the course of 6 decades in pointless wars. How about that idea?
I understand. I do understand that. And
do you agree with it?
The pointless wars. You know what? A lot of people have died for no reason whatsoever.
That's what I'm saying.
A lot of people have died. A lot of people have died for this country.
What does
I'm
that
not
mean?
saying they didn't.
For this country.
You see, that's
Dude,
the problem.
Hold on. When you say for this country,
yes, that's what I want to address.
I want to ask: do you, when you say for this country, do you mean for the government, or do you mean for the people?
Our way of life.
What is that?
Our way of life.
I think
for our way of life, our freedom, so you can have your show and spout off and.
But I can't have my show because I can't have the freedom to speak and say the things that I might want to say because the U.S. government gets in the way and says you can't say certain things, even though we have relative freedom of speech compared to other countries.
I'm more
in the
interested
world.
in the TSA feeling my kid up at while I travel through the airport.
Yeah.
How come your kid
checkpoints?
hasn't defended me from the enemy's domestic?
Yeah. How about the checkpoints that are inside the United States that we've all been stopped at? You and I both, Mark. We've been stopped at these internal immigration checkpoints, and I don't see the U.S. military stopping them. Why doesn't the U.S. military go and arrest the politicians? Why don't they go and put them in the brig? Instead, it's Chelsea Manning. Thanks for the call tonight. More coming up here. Your calls are welcome. 855-450-FREE like freedom. It's Free Talk Live.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20. Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISSparis.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk live Saturday edition continuing here. We have time for you. If you join us on the phones, our number there is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. You can jump into one of those, and then you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. It's Ian and Mark as we continue with your calls and thoughts. Just had a gentleman on the line who was shocked that we would be critical of the U.S. military as tools for scum-sucking politicians. Now, he did agree that he didn't trust or like politicians. However, he just has a total disconnect between the fact that he doesn't like politicians, but yet whenever the politicians tell the military to do something, well, it must be an honorable, good thing that they're doing. I don't get it.
No, I don't think that's what he said. I think that he said
that was his attitude, was that the military had protected our way of life, and they're doing good things, and yeah, there might have been some pointless wars, but darn it, they're still a good organization.
People are and should be proud of their kids, because that's just a good, natural human thing to do.
What if your kid's a murderer?
Well, I'll tell you what. I've met some mothers of murderers, and they're still proud of their kid. They do their very best.
That's crazy.
And what I would say is that if you just back off for a second, right? Like give this guy a little bit of room to learn something that you've already figured out. And that is that the military is a bunch of young people that signed up to give their lives for their country. Turns out that there's evil politicians that cloak themselves in the United States flag and that waste the lives of those young people over and over and over again, and we keep falling for it. You know, we keep falling for it.
I don't anymore.
Well, you don't anymore, but you did.
Yeah, there was a time. Because of the propaganda.
And everybody gets their opportunity to learn.
The propaganda is nonstop. It's, as you mentioned, at the football games. It's on the movies. It's on television. The military even approves scripts for movies. If the movie wants to get their approval, get a jet or a tank or something like that to use, then the script for the movie has to go through the military for approval.
Yeah, well, absolutely. The military-industrial complex is deeply entrenched, and the warnings of Eisenhower have fallen on 10 ears in this country, and sadly, we still haven't learned. We still give our best and our brightest to these people that we call liars and thieves in every other instance.
Squander some lives.
And it's a shame. And let's not forget that for every one life, the American life that's lost, there are probably 10 on the other side, and these are just young people all over the place, throwing themselves away for these ideas that they hope they achieve, right? The American way of life. He kept talking about it, and I think he's right. Like, the American way of life would be worth dying for if the politicians gave a flip about it. But they actually care about the opposite.
Well, I don't even know what the American way of life is. If it's some sort of theoretical freedom that we don't actually have, then yeah, I love the idea of theoretical freedom.
I love them too.
But we don't have it. I mean, you can look at the economic freedom listings. The United States isn't even in the top 10 on most of them that I've seen in recent years.
No, I haven't seen any. It's in the top 10.
So, sorry, it ain't a free country, and it's the politicians' fault. And the people who go along with just, the police are great, the military is great. Well, these people are the ones who are doing the bidding of the politicians. If they want me to say they're great, then they should go and arrest the damn politicians. Then I'll be pretty happy with what they've done. But that would be a military coup, and then that won't necessarily lead to more freedom either, as we've seen in many of the other countries around the world.
Yeah, the United States isn't even in the area that they would call free on the 2018 index.
Which index? Which one?
2018. This is Economic Freedom Index. It's from Wikipedia.
Oh, okay.
And they're listed as mostly free. Ahead of Lithuania, but just behind the Netherlands and Georgia.
Let's go back to your calls and thoughts. Jeremy's in Virginia listening to WLNI FM. Hello, Jeremy.
Hello.
Hey, you're on the air.
Yeah, that last guy was, he was really hard to listen to.
Well, he's happy with his life, so.
What's on your mind?
Good.
And here's the issue. Like, he probably agrees with you guys a whole lot more than he knows.
Absolutely.
And he's attacking you, and he keeps using the word spouting off and all those, sort of words. And I'm just like, the guy admitted he doesn't like politicians and they're, corrupt and this, that. And he probably agrees with you guys on 90% of everything.
Sure. But this is the sacred cow, right? The Free Talk Live doesn't mind taking taking the scalpel to this particular sacred cow, which no other radio program will spend any time on. And that is, now this isn't my quote. This is coming from a military vet that called in here who'd served in both the Army and the Navy. And what I often attempt to do is to undo this, sort of tear this quote apart and see where he's wrong. And I can't figure out where he's wrong. He said, when I was in the military, all I was a paid killer working for liars and thieves. And if the military's job is, ultimately they're paid to kill people, that's what they kill people and break things. Yeah, sure, they're sent on the odd mercy mission, and I think that's great. But that's what he claimed his job was. And liars and thieves part, I certainly don't argue with.
And, he kept coming back to family and that sort of thing. I've got members of family that were also in Vietnam and military and sort of things. And they say all the time, we don't know why we were there. Like, we were 16, 17-year-old kids that they happily let into the military, and they couldn't tell you why they were there. They were just there, and that was it.
Free Talk Live has probably had a dozen veterans on the air here as hosts throughout the years.
We have at least two that I can think of off the top of my head right now.
Right. It's a chance that this guy calls in on a night that there's not a vet sitting on the air right now.
Yeah, there was one 2 days ago, and then 2 days before that.
It's a roll of the dice that either one of us didn't happen to sign up for the military for 4 years. I mean, these things, it's commonplace. It's just what was done.
Jeremy, anything else you want to share?
No, that's pretty much it. You guys are awesome, and
thanks.
Yeah, that was hard.
Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. It's hard to listen to, but and thanks for the call. But it's common. That viewpoint isn't uncommon at all. The idea that, well, if you weren't for the military, you'd be invaded. He's actually said that there's all these other countries in the world. They're itching to invade the United States. And then when I pointed out, well, wait a minute, what about all the guns in the United States? It was like, oh, yeah, I agree 100%. Well, which one is it?
Right, they're not going to take over rural New Hampshire. They might take over Washington, D.C., but, well, as far as I'm concerned, they already got it. I mean, you're telling me that Washington, D.C. isn't already enemy-occupied territory? It isn't run by socialists, lobbyists, corporatists, and everybody who's not you? Like, think about what you are in this world, listener. You. What are you in this world, and what does Washington, D.C. do to protect you and your interests?
If New Hampshire,
and the answer is nothing.
If New Hampshire, maybe I should say when New Hampshire secedes, because New Hampshire was, as I understand it, the first state to declare independence from the British colonies, or the King George or whatever. But if New Hampshire is first to secede from the United States, I would not be concerned about Canada rolling in tanks. It would be more likely that the United States federal government would be the invading force, more likely than any other force on the planet, in my opinion, that it would be the U.S. military.
I would hope that it wouldn't come to that.
I also hope that it would not come to that.
I think that a better solution is to bring the United States government into constitutional bounds. Not that that's likely to happen. Well, so is secession.
No, it's not. Secession actually happens. Bringing a government into its constitutional bounds, that's a pure political fantasy.
I think it needs probably a new constitution, one with consequences to these politicians.
Give up on it, dude. It's a failure. Yeah. It's an abject failure from top to bottom.
I already think that I wouldn't retire to the United States. Make your money here, then leave. That's the best way to handle it.
Well, I don't agree with that. I think that if you care about freedom, you ought to move to New Hampshire as part of the New Hampshire freedom migration with thousands of other like-minded, liberty-oriented people, many of whom are well-armed. As a matter of fact, New Hampshire is not going to have a problem. There's guns all over. The Democrats have guns in New Hampshire, a lot of them. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Or at the very least, they've grown up around them. It's just a more gun-friendly place in general. More freedom-friendly, too, in a lot of ways. 855-450-FREE. We don't need the federal government. Do you really think that we do? It's Free Talk Live.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month, you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-919-5435. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-919-5435. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-919-5435. 1-800-919-5435.
Hi, I'm Dan Pilla. I started fighting the IRS over 40 years ago when they tried to seize my mother's house. I sued the IRS and won. I beat the IRS then, and I've been beating them ever since. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I've helped thousands of people deal with tax problems they thought might never be solved. I can help you too. If you owe taxes you can't pay, don't wait another day. There's no such thing as a hopeless tax case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com, danpilla.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. LRN.fm now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit, public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Moments remain. I'm not going to give you the phone number because our phones are loaded up now, of course, in the final segment of the show. If we don't get to you tonight, it's not because we didn't want to talk to you. It's because we ran out of time. So we always do another show. Tomorrow night, we're going to be back. Even if we're not on your local radio station, we're here. Don't worry about it. 7 to 10 at night Eastern Time. You can call and join us. And so if you don't get on tonight, please, we would love to hear from you tomorrow between 7 and 10 at night Eastern. You can always listen online anytime you want at freetalklive.com via our podcast feeds. You can download direct, of course. You can listen to our live streams. You can watch us on Twitch. You can watch us on DLive. These are our two video streaming platforms. You can go to dlive.lrn.fm and then you can watch us there and follow us on that platform as well. Let's go and continue with more with your calls and thoughts here. We've got Dustin. He's in Kansas, listening to KINA. Hello, Dustin. You're in Salina.
Hello. You know my name, and it collects with the grow up of Alpha Delta Omega. I made a packet of laws of land that identify the main for world confidence to maintain the 12 balances.
Okay, is this making any sense to you?
This is the most arbitrary set of words strung together. Say it one more time. One sentence.
I made a packet of Taxol, 3 pages.
A packet of what?
Taxol?
Laws of land. I made a packet of laws of land for the Tea Party effort 10 years ago.
Okay.
The common laws, 10 commandments, no criminal court charges, and corruption monitoring.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We can even take the corruption monitoring to the life experience.
Correction monitoring.
The corruption monitoring.
Correction monitoring?
Corruption
monitoring. Jesus.
Where we can take the investigation to the growing individual in a solid.
Are you reading this? Hold on. Are you reading this off of a statement? Is this like a prepared statement that you've made?
You can say that.
That's best. It's best to have notes. Go to discord.freetalklive.com.
Post it.
Put it in our chat room. I just can't understand you.
He says he has no computer.
Well, I'm sorry. The connectivity is an issue.
Terrible
Thank you
call.
very much.
Thanks for the call, Dustin. Wow. I mean, that was the most disjointed gobbledygook that I've heard in a long time. I mean, even the crazy callers can put a sentence together in a lot of cases.
Well, I think he has a lot to say in a very short period of time. The guy's probably like a genius.
Get that guy his own talk show. Let's continue here. Anthony, listening in South Carolina, listening to WQXL. Hopefully you can put a sentence together. Go ahead, Anthony.
How are you doing, Mike, sir?
Good. What's on your mind?
So I was listening to you guys talk about how politicians control the military and utilize that for their personal gain.
Yeah.
And my biggest point of contact, and I'm on active duty right now. I've been in the military for 12 years. And just something one of my hiccups is as a libertarian, and this is my first time listening to your guys' show, so I don't know exactly what your political leanings are.
Sounds right.
We're very libertarian. Very libertarian.
So I just think the way we fight the government's ability to utilize these young people coming out of high school who don't have avenues of approach to, a better life besides utilizing military services like tuition assistance, free housing, free food, and all that, is to limit the government's ability to task people and provide that. Because as long as we allow the government to give people this safe, nurturing life of low risk, high reward, it's just going to continue to happen.
I agree. We definitely need to stop the government from taxing people. Let's shut it down entirely.
I completely agree with that.
Now, were you a libertarian before you joined the military?
No, sir. I originally grew up in Illinois, so I was indoctrinated as a liberal, and then I joined the Army, and I kind of started seeing, like, wow, Republicans kind of have this going for them. And then as I've deployed and gone back to 3 different theaters, I kind of am like, I see it firsthand, all the things that are happening with, people being misused.
Yeah, oftentimes it's a government job that will show people the way when it comes to libertarianism. Other times you'll find people that are, just like, yeah, the time the military was the best and we should draft everybody.
Yeah,
so
but the
it
honest
goes one
ones
way or the other.
But the honest ones will still tell you there's tremendous waste, right? Like,
Sure.
I'm sure you've seen it.
I literally work in military funds every day. I'm basically an accountant for the Army. I can tell you right now, things get wasted.
I bet we could fill an entire hour if the whole show with that. Anthony, thanks for calling and sharing your thoughts tonight. I definitely appreciate hearing from you. And that's what, it's not uncommon for people in the military to really finally, open their eyes and see, oh my God, there's, this isn't what they said it was going to be.
Harry Browne, the 2-time Libertarian presidential candidate, described it as, and I mean, this is practically sacrilegious, described it as the post office and fatigues. I mean, you have to have been in the military, I believe, to truly understand that statement. And lots of veterans are libertarians because, well, they've been through it and they understand. It's a difficult position to be in the position you and I are, which is sitting on the outside. Yep, we could have joined the military, but we didn't. And because we didn't do that 4 years of, well, I don't know, sort of pointless mucking around, then, well, you guys really can't talk. You ought to move to Somalia.
I love Harry Browne, and I'm totally a Harry Browne libertarian, and he's the one that brought me into the liberty movement. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, it's kind of an insult against the post office, honestly. I mean, those people are actually providing a service, even though they're hobbled by the fact that they're connected with the government so much. They are actually doing something that's somewhat worthwhile, and they can quit their jobs whenever they want to.
You'll find that the world needs protection organizations, and the United States military is...
Sure, I'll hire one if I need one then.
Well, they're not going to exist unless somebody trains for it.
Oh, there's plenty of people who want to have a military, Mark. There is no doubt that they could be voluntarily funded.
There you go.
No doubt in my mind.
Well, you were saying that your previous claim was they didn't provide a service, comparing it to the post office.
No. I said the U.S. government is not a service organization. It's a criminal organization, is what I said earlier.
No,
in the
you
show
were just
tonight.
saying that the post office provides a service.
Yeah,
the military provides
valuable
a service too, which is protection.
No, it doesn't, Mark. That's the same mythology that we were just talking with the other caller about.
Then what you're saying is that
they don't protect you. They protect themselves and the military and the government buildings. That's not your protection.
They're selling.
They put you in greater danger.
They're selling. Well, no, the military doesn't. The politicians do, because we've turned over the control of the military to the politicians.
Well, somebody's dropping those bombs, and it ain't the politicians.
Agreed.
Because they're cowards.
So either the post office doesn't provide package delivery services, or the military does provide protection. You get to pick.
I already did. The military does not provide protection. It's a myth.
Then the post office doesn't provide package delivery.
The post office absolutely provides delivery. I just saw the agent today on my porch. More coming up here with your calls. Let's talk to Sam. He's in Wilmington, Delaware, I believe, listening to WILM. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, it's actually Elkton, Maryland, but I listen to you on 1450 WILM.
Excellent. Go ahead, sir.
I'll be an easy target for the end of the night, but when you had the question about way of life, my way of life is, if it's awesome, I can light off firecrackers on the 4th of July, and I know that there's not tanks going down my street, and nobody's going to be flying planes over like in Pearl Harbor.
Well, now wait a minute. Hold on. Now what? Now there are government police.
Plenty of places you can't set off those fireworks.
Yeah, there are some states that prohibit fireworks, so there is that. So you're not freedom. You don't have freedom in a lot of places to do fireworks.
But the United States military doesn't come after you for fireworks. So yes, you're right.
That's true.
Unless your fireworks are big enough, in which case somebody will definitely come after you.
However, there is a good chance that your local police department has something akin to a tank. Here in Keene, New Hampshire, they have a Bearcat, which is basically a large armored personnel carrier that has gun ports on it and can, could in theory have a 50 cal mounted to the top of it.
Yeah, you need that. You need that sometime for a wacko that's holed up at his house with a bazooka. You have to have that kind of thing.
Look, you just said there weren't tanks rolling down your street. Which one is it?
What? No, tanks from tanks. So let me clarify: tanks with other people's flags on it.
I see. It's the foreign tanks that bother you the most.
What do you think about? What do you think it was like for the people in Massachusetts when they had the cops rolling through their streets with armored vehicles pointing machine guns at their houses after the Boston bombing? How do you think that felt?
It probably felt pretty bad, but in a civilized society, sometimes you got to break some eggs to make an omelet. So if you got to go to the airport, you're going to have to take your shoes off. And basically, that's how that's going.
Yeah, but the TSA can't even find
hold on. They don't make the old ladies take the shoes off. They don't make the young kids take the shoes off. So taking the shoes off doesn't give you freedom.
I don't have to take my shoes off in Japan or in Mexico, by the way, at those airports.
It's not a civilized society. It's just a make-work program for water thieves.
I wish we had more time for you, Sam, but we're out of time for tonight. Call us another night. We can talk more. I appreciate hearing from you. If you didn't get on, we'll be back tomorrow. Join us online. In the meantime, you can find us anytime at freetalklive.com. Have a great weekend.
People love photography. But when we thought about photography, we realized one thing. Humans are limited to looking at photos with our eyes. That's a problem, right? So we made an app, PicSong, the first program that turns your photos into music if you want to do that for some reason. It puts the power in your hands. You get to decide why you need this. I can't tell you why you need this. It's not my job. Who is this app for? Maybe it's for students, or artists, or blind people. But can it turn your music into photos? No, it can't. Do you get to keep the original photo? No, it gets deleted. Always back up your photos before using PicSong.
This is the Onion News Network.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Questioning Authority is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,402. Silver at $15.03, and Bitcoin is trading at $11,279. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Iran has called for the immediate release of its oil tanker after British Royal Marines boarded and seized it off Gibraltar after it took a long 90-day trek around the tip of Africa, presumably to evade sanctions enforcement en route to Syria. Authorities had accused the Grace 1 supertanker of illegal smuggling, as it had reportedly been transporting some 2 million barrels of Iranian oil. The anti-media reports that Iran's foreign ministry had immediately summoned the UK ambassador over the incident, saying the move was unacceptable. An official statement of protest called for the immediate release of the oil tanker, given that it had been seized at the request of the U.S., based on the information currently available. Iran's position is that the EU sanctions on Syria have not been endorsed by the UN, while the U.S. received the news as a positive development in the global crackdown on Iranian oil. But Syria and Iran, as well as some Arab commentators, have shot back that some of the few dozen Royal Marines seizing the tanker by fast roping it on a helicopter amounts to piracy. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Brazilian government is targeting one of its biggest critics, journalist Glenn Greenwald, in a move decried by observers as an intimidation tactic designed to stifle opposition to right-wing President Bolsonaro. The Government Finance Ministry's money laundering unit was asked by federal police to investigate Greenwald's finances. That's according to a report Tuesday by O Antagonista. The right-wing Brazilian news site said the investigation would focus on whether Greenwald paid for access to leaked records he used in reporting on the Bolsonaro government's Operation Car Wash sting. Activist Post reports that attacks on Greenwald and his family, including husband David Miranda, a member of Brazil's Congress, were criticized by UN and Organization of American States Edison Lanza and David Calle. Nothing, says Police State USA, quite like a SWAT team raiding a family home and killing their dog because they're unable to pay their gas bill. The woman whose dog was killed and home destroyed by SWAT officers is Angela Zorek, and her story about her police state experience will shock the conscience. After fighting the system for nearly 5 years, Zorek's family is finally being compensated. Activist Post reports that according to a lawsuit, which was settled this week, Zorek was the victim of a massive military-style raid and subsequent puppycide. The raid was carried out because police said they needed, quote, to check if her home had electricity and natural gas service, end quote. Zorek admitted to the police she did not have gas, but said she did have electricity. Zorek asked for another inspection to prove that she had utilities. The officers told her that was fine, but the investigation would continue. The next day, April 29, 2014, the home was raided by multiple officers from the St. Louis County Police Tactical Response Unit. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Hewlett-Packard is known for their basic, no-frills computers, but that doesn't mean they can't keep up with the latest technology. In a press release yesterday, HP said, quote, "We are excited to begin offering that cloud thing that everyone is talking about. We definitely have the cloud on our computers, and it is better than anyone else's cloud." Earlier today, I sat down with HP spokesman Gary Klinman, who said the company couldn't wait to show people, quote, how they do their cloud stuff.
We are absolutely thrilled that now people with computers or phones, both will now be able to back things up to the cloud.
Klinman says it isn't surprising they're, quote, up on the cloud, considering they're on the cutting edge of all the latest tech trends. Are there any additional features?
Crowdsourcing is something we are having. Crowdsourcing 2.0. We have social sharing. We have 5G, 6G, really all the Gs. We have app. We have all of it in the computer.
This is the Onion News Network.
I don't mean to sound too nice. No, I am Canadian after all, but
all right, and welcome back, everyone, to this finally live edition of Questioning Authority. Haven't gotten the calls and such figured out yet, but that's okay, just because probably very few people at this point will would have fought to tune in live anyways, but that's all right. It's I'm out of vacation mode finally, back into work mode, and taking a vacation from work, and eventually you won't need a vacation from a vacation, so it's good to be back to work. All right, and I have quite a few. It's going to be current events day to day.